Hello, welcome to the stream. I was hoping you could hear the cricket sounds of the game, but it looks like they're not picking up. I was like, they're literally hearing crickets. Jeez. But yeah, welcome to the stream. Welcome everyone. Welcome Splints. Welcome Turtle. I have a full house of peeps here as we're gonna go play some Phasmo. Wish me some luck. Niku Niku Ni. Dash, I hope you're doing awesome. It's good to see you as always. I hope you're doing good and taking care. We're gonna turn down the lights a little bit. We gotta make it a little spookier in here. It's too bright. So welcome. Star Avia escape. No one caught it. Oh hi. Hey, it didn't scream. Oh, there it goes. It's working. We had to make sure it's working. I got my comfy, cozy blanket, so I can live with all this chaos as we sneak around in the dark and hunt ghosts tonight. We become Ghostbusters. Alright. Let's see. Move this out of the way. Welcome, Sweats. Welcome, me. Alright, let me go grab the peeps.
It automatically
Hi, everyone. We are live.
Hello.
Da-da-da.
So, guess I'll be this person.
Gonna be what?
No, you can't be her. I'm her.
I'm not her.
Actually, I don't think I'm her.
I'm a guy.
Oh, you're still the woman to me.
Are you now?
Are you sure?
I am the guy though, because it's. Is that a guy? Yeah, it's a guy.
Hard to tell these days.
Oh no.
I put the room code in chat, by the way.
Stop throwing the bricks. Jesus.
I'm checking everybody's sound levels at the moment.
And then,
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
I figure we'll probably meet in Discord and then join the
Mona. What?
until we die.
I need to figure out
Aw, Coco? That's such a cute frog. Coco, yeah, Turtle, you wanna play Phasmo?
We can hold hands.
How many we got playing? I know it's me and Raid, and Michigan, are you playing?
Yeah, I'm in the lobby.
I haven't got the game.
There's room for one more, I think, right?
Yeah, we can have 4, yeah. And then if we get too many, we can switch it around. So.
I was thinking that too. Get too many.
But yeah, once you guys start playing, I'll jump out. So let you.
No, you don't have to. You can stay.
Oh, thank you.
You can listen to us get scared and scream. Let's see.
I'm not scared of nothing.
Them pins too heavy for you there, lady?
Shut your face.
You can't even get past the fence.
Looks like there are others out there in need of help.
Oh, cornhole. No, yeah.
Okay, now it's not gonna let me paste the code with bigger. Let's see. Oh, there it goes. Paste. No, it's still not working.
Okay, good. Man.
There it goes. There it goes.
How do you pick things up?
E?
F, I think?
No, E.
Yeah. I'm getting nervous and hungry.
You're fine.
So I made a mixed drink. It's basically wine with a little bit of slushy in it. So it's like a slushy wine. It's a strawberry slushy.
It's a 7-Eleven sangria.
I guess so. It's a tonic strawberry slushy mixed with a rosé wine. So. I mean, I could use.
I'm just asking.
I could have used this one.
You're gonna be so far away from your drink, it's gonna take a long time.
I still have the other whole slushy because.
Thank you for finishing that sentence.
Did I get it in?
But with the bigger straw, you could leave the drink on the table and drink while you're playing.
She's doing so much.
Dude, you're on top of the cornhole and you can't even get it in.
No, I can't even get it in. I don't think either. Right on top of it.
Oh, jeez.
Hold on. Oh, I can't. Nope, I can't get it in. Damn it.
Okay, how do I go to the screen? How do I get to leave, ready up, start? Do I hit escape?
Yeah.
It's not doing
Are you
anything.
in the game?
Guys.
No,
Yeah.
you're not in here yet, right?
It says you guys are here. I see
Yeah,
your name, Michigan's name.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you're
see
on-
her on the board.
I also can't see your game, so I don't know what you're looking at.
I'm gonna
Can you see
leave.
us?
I'm coming back.
We were upstairs. I'm
Welcome
downstairs,
back.
but I still
Yeah.
I've
don't
got
see
some
it.
jobs ready for you.
Well,
Lady,
normally
why you throwing the beanbags over the
Looks
thing?
like there are others out there in need of help.
Why not?
You're not even playing the game.
Is there a hoop?
Hey.
She's like, F this,
Yeah.
I'm throwing everything off the top deck.
Literally.
There we go.
Yeah, the hoop is up here. Oh, there she is. Okay.
So how do I get off this screen? Okay, well let me show you what screen I'm talking about. Huh?
If
It's
you're
space.
on the menu where you see everyone, hit space.
Space. Because I'm hitting escape all day and it's not doing anything.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
You guys look identical. Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, we're
We're
Karen.
twins.
Oh,
You're
no.
Yeah,
both
let's be
Karen?
Karen.
Oh my gosh, that's not
Yeah,
good.
let's join the Karen Club, man.
Yeah.
Karen is
Sorry
Sharon.
about claustrophobia.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna follow
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
So, I got
You had to
everything
remember what keys
set.
or what too.
So, where do we want to go?
So you E
Apparently
to pick
F-
up, and then
F-
how do you
F
throw
is
something?
throw. F, yeah.
It's not throwing.
G?
G is.
Oh.
Trust me, I'm learning too.
E and G. It's just been so long since I played. I don't remember. The screen seems extra herky jerky today. I don't like that. Maybe there's an option I needed to change and I didn't change it.
I voted on what contract to go with.
Oh shoot, we have to vote.
Also make sure that you add tools.
Don't have any money.
Tools.
Mono's
As
having
in.
to.
How do I do that?
The
Just pick
far
on it?
right screen, so you'll go next.
Okay, what do we need?
It'll tell you, we need at least one more flashlight and one more video camera, I would say.
Did I just click on it? No.
Oh, you have to go to the next screen over to the right.
Oh yeah,
So hit the right arrow.
I got $0.
There you go. Go ahead and hit the X in the top right. Underneath the little box.
That didn't look right.
And so you're already on that
Flashlight?
screen. You're on your thing. So yeah, add a flashlight. And then you can add a video camera.
So we need 3 flashlights and 1 camera, or I don't.
Everything we need is in there, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I think that should be good.
And then.
Let's go. Let's do some.
Whenever anyone's ready, be ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Alright.
Cheers. Good luck.
Alright,
Good
we're
luck,
gonna be in
cheers.
Discord.
Oh shoot,
that
I have
way.
to remember.
You'll have
What
to
is
tell us how to
push
do
to
it in game though.
Discord?
What's the push to talk on this game?
You
Yeah,
need
let's
to look
push
at
it
your
here.
controls. I changed mine.
No clue.
So
Don't know how to look at controls.
Options, controls, scroll all the way down. You want to look at local push to talk and then global push to talk.
You'll need both, because
You have
when
to
you're not
escape.
close,
Yeah.
you'll have a radio.
Where is the controls?
Hit escape. Escape. Under your options menu.
I went to option and then where?
You gotta get off the
Ready
board
up.
first, Kimona.
Controls. Yeah. So Mono needs to hit escape.
Again? Okay.
Yes.
Mo.
Local push to
Under
talk.
Options.
It's V.
I muted myself. Okay. Okay.
So it's we want local.
Oh, Jay, you were fine. It was just the three of us who were playing that we were gonna mute.
Yeah.
It's so you don't get the double talk.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna mute
I don't
myself.
remember doing all
So
this
under
last time.
controls,
I
Okay.
mute myself when I think of Joe. No, wait, what?
you're thinking a different song, mate.
and then you scroll all the way
Audio.
to the bottom.
And I know the one you're thinking of.
Push to talk.
No, you want controls.
Good song though.
Yeah, you want to be on push to
Oops.
talk, so you're fine. You just want to go to controls, scroll all the way to the bottom, and then you have B and B are yours. I changed
I
mine to
hugged
my
a
little
bot.
mouse buttons. That's easier
Oh,
for
yeah.
me. But
I'm gonna keep it on the V.
Not gonna do that. So V and B. V is
Yeah.
B is global and B is short distance,
so-
I guess.
Yeah.
So B is gonna be your direct proximity. B is
Mhm.
gonna be our walkie-talkie.
Over.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we want to talk to each other, it'd be in the house. Hello is B.
Yep.
Okay.
You're there.
Yeah, you have to mute yourself.
Are you ready?
I was just double checking.
Yes.
Good luck. Have fun.
Alrighty. Bye, guys.
I hope I get murdered first. You know, this guy.
Mono, you need to ready up again. Oh, this bitch done deafened.
Yeah, she didn't know the difference. This guy. I don't know.
You just
What?
have to be muted in Discord, Mono.
Why does
Yeah, you
that
don't
doesn't
have
make
to,
no
yeah,
sense? See,
You
we
don't
didn't
need
have
to
to do
deafen,
all
just
that
mute.
before.
I think she got it
Also,
now.
make sure that you have to hit the button to talk to us.
I am hitting the button.
V.
Is it not working?
It is working.
I can't hear.
Yeah,
her
I
on
don't
the
hear
game.
Mono at all.
Hello, hello, hello,
I
hello,
can't hear
hello.
either of you. I hear her.
Hello, 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 hello.
No, I hear you
There
now.
you
I hear you
go.
now. I hear her.
Can
Okay,
you
so
not hear us
my
on
buttons
the
are
stream?
I hear
switched.
Joe and
hear me?
Joe and Kimono.
So global
No,
does not
nothing
work.
from me?
Proximity works.
Yeah, no, I'm hitting
Now
V
I hear
right
you.
now, yeah. I
Lady,
am
you're
here.
good. You're
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay,
that makes
cool.
no sense. Okay.
Well,
So
B
when y'all
is
are
if you
far
want,
away,
like-
you're not going to be able to hear me because it's not working.
Well, a B
No,
would
it's because
be.
we're in the same room right now. We don't actually have our walkies.
Yeah, we're local. B is for if you have a walkie-talkie.
Which we'll have when we go in.
Okay.
I'm gonna
If
hit
you'll
start.
get once you
Why
go
is
to the
everything so loud
Being
now?
boy,
Hold
yeah.
on. I gotta fix that. Why is that
house.
like
Because the
blaring
in-game
loud?
voice is super loud.
It is super loud on stream. Alright. Say something? Because y'all are super loud and I have to fix it. Say something because y'all are super loud and I have to fix it. I can't hear them at all.
There she is.
Can you say something? Oh, there you go. Okay.
Barlow Spartan responds to
did.
people who are alone.
A little higher is fine.
Okay. It just seemed super loud a minute ago.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch this one.
Because now I've just put it back to where it was. Shane, welcome.
Stream
That's
at
just-
80.
Okay.
Yeah, see, she's blaring.
So choose your little tools. Make sure you grab your flashlight.
Okay. See, I don't like the being in game because I have to turn it way down. The game down.
Don't throw the things on the ground.
What is that? Dot
Well, I
thing?
did it on purpose, obviously.
Also, Mono, remember you have to do the button to talk to us.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this.
How do you use the camera? How do you get my...
Right mouse button.
It's not working, but whatever.
Well, get good, dude.
How do we switch tools? Roll. Never mind. Roll them.
Mouse scroll wheel is
Yeah.
easiest. So you don't have to hold your flashlight. So you can pick up your regular tool, and then T will do your flashlight for you when you have something else in your hand. Nice. Someone picked up the dog. Ready to go?
Yep.
Let's do it.
Yep. Let's go. Don't worry, I won't jump scare you.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
No, I'm not. Hey, how's it been? It's been good, thank you.
I have the keys.
Let's see. Let's
I thought
go.
like this open shit. I was like, wait.
I also did not look up the map, so we'll be okay.
Yeah. No. Gosh, I'm getting jumpy. I see range shadow and I jump already.
I'm doing EMF right now, trying to figure out if it's here. If you go somewhere, make sure the door is open.
No, I wanted to talk to the spirits.
Let me know if you find any bones or a Ouija board or anything.
Shoes on the floor. Door won't open. The door won't open. It's like stuck. There it goes.
You have to let go of it too.
Phone on the floor.
Oh, shit. Do we have a camera? Like a flash camera? Did we get one?
No.
Oh, there's some EMF. So, it's in here, I think.
The bathroom. Bathroom is spooky.
You got anything, Michigan?
In the basement now.
Okay, we have some EMF in the upstairs bathroom with a bone in there too.
Yeah, rain is at 91%. Michigan's at 88. Michigan. Sanity.
Oh boy,
Level.
it looks like maybe it's in the basement, but I don't know.
I don't know. Scary cats. Yes.
Sorry, how do you open doors? Because I'm clicking on it, it's not opening.
I think you have to like ram it.
You have to
Like
click on
click
it
and
and
run
press
into it.
and then move forward.
With your body weight. There you go.
I keep hearing the door opening and closing. I think that might be
Oh, that's me. That's me trying to figure out how doors work.
Forget, what am I looking for with these green dot thing again? Like handprints, right?
So it's best to let it sit, but it's easier if we wait until we find the favorite room.
But like, can't you like see handprints on doors and stuff that sometimes?
Not with the dots. You have to use the UV light.
Oh, that's the infrared thing. I'm getting two things confused.
Make sure we're careful about how many lights we turn on.
I didn't turn on it.
I'm not turning
I haven't turned on any lights.
You didn't turn on the bedroom light?
Nope. It was already on.
Not me.
Okay, because it definitely was not on when I was in here last.
I haven't been in this bedroom. It was the other bedroom I went in. This is going to be funny. Disturbances in the diet. Yeah. I felt disturbed. Ew, hi JJ, how are you? Hope you're doing good. So we have like a quiet one, it seems.
Yeah, I'm gonna move the camera that I have in there into the bedroom.
Mm.
Michigan, did you turn the other bedroom light on?
Negative.
Okay, because that bedroom light's on now too.
So the lights are turning themselves on and off. How are you doing, JJ? I see people walking past the bone.
Oh shit, thank
Huh? What's the deal? Oh, sorry. What'd you say, Ray? Oh, camera move.
got the sink. Yeah, that scared the living shit out of me because it turned this fucking bathtub on as I walked in there. And also, if you notice up here on the top right, the little button or the timer, we are now going to get extra ghost activity now.
Yeah, Chad, I think their voices are gonna go up and down depending on how far away they are and how close they are. Because, like, when she's standing next to me, she's super loud. When she's far away, she's quiet. So, she's gonna end up being louder than me at times.
You're special. You're special.
Special? No, you're special. I said it twice.
Okay, it definitely turned off the light in the bedroom. Or maybe they fused when I...
So where'd you move the camera to?
And to the other...
Oh, you had to hit the mouse or something? Interesting. I don't see anything
Michigan,
yet.
you're putting camera. That's okay. I know Michigan was moving a camera. What you doing with yours? Oh, shit.
Michigan died.
Oh, no.
Or his sanity's at question mark.
No, he's dead.
We turned our backs and Michigan died. See, I like being able to hear him scream. I didn't get to hear him scream or die.
To be fair, it goes after the ones who are alone. I left him in there alone.
I didn't even get to hear him scream or holler.
Nope, nothing.
So what does that mean if it murdered somebody?
Fuck, man.
Remember your team witnessed a ghost event? Well, yeah, he died. Does that count?
Well, we have literally no evidence.
Run!
I know I didn't get any EMF 5.
Mm-mm.
Are you seeing any ghost orbs at all?
Nope. No ghost orbs. Nothing here.
Alright, so I crossed off ghost orbs and EMF 5.
But see, I don't get to hear you scream when you die.
No, that's true. It's okay.
This is terrible. I don't like this. I want to play the other way.
Yeah, see, the door is shut because.
Sounds spooky
Oh.
too.
That's Michigan throwing a picture. Cool. Thanks, Michigan. Oh wait, no, it wasn't. I only found his body.
Uh-oh. Don't go too far.
Alright, out we go.
I don't want to be in there. I'm so scared.
I was gonna do that, but it started peeking.
Oh.
It did throw the picture though.
You click things on the oh, it's the escape button in it. Or your journal or whatever. Ghost.
Alright, I'm gonna go see if I can find some hankies.
So did you mark off anything yet? We didn't have anything to mark off yet, did we? Yeah. Did you mark off anything yet in the journal? For evidence? We don't have to do
We
it.
got fingerprints and freezing temps.
Freezing temps and okay. Freezing temp.
So
Freezing temps. It could be a demon. Revenant.
and then we also had ultraviolet.
Oh, did we? Okay. So we're down to 4. Could be a mimic
No.
or
Cross off EMF and ghost orb. It could be either a demon or a mimic.
I just literally crossed off everything. Okay.
That's fair.
I don't know what. Okay, what is supposed to have an X and not? I'm so confused right now. Hi, Matthew.
Okay, so the X, you want freezing temps and ultraviolet. If you click EMF and ghost orb again, you'll get it crossed off.
Okay. There we go. That's why I got confused. You should try Lethal Company sometime? Oh boy. Oh, thank you. Splint, thank you for gifting Jay a sub.
The mimic is an elusive, mysterious copycat ghost that mirrors traits and behaviors from others, including other ghost types. Unsure what this ghost is capable of. Several reports have noticed ghost orb sightings.
No,
Near the mimic.
I feel like we get 50-50.
Yeah, we just need to find out if it's ghost writing or spirit box.
Thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ace the
Let's find
Shadow Lord. Thank you. It's less complicated than this. Where'd you go? Did you go back inside? Yep, she went back inside. Hey, don't get lost in there. Something just fell in the doorway. Or is that you throwing? That's your door shut. Door shut. Rain? Are you alive? Oh god. Picture frame threw itself outside and the door shut. I'm pretty sure she's dead. Oh, there's something trying to get through the door. Oh god. I can see something trying to get through the door. I can see you trying to get through the door. I can see you trying to get through the door. I'm so scared.
Yeah.
Um.
I literally put down the camera to watch the notebook? Because it looks like it's in the bathroom.
Well, there's a
No.
picture frame on the ground outside. I'm scared.
It's Michigan in here anyway.
Oh, now the picture frame's gone. Oh, is it Michigan throwing the picture frame?
Probably. Oh, see out there.
It's got a
Yeah,
kitty
yeah.
cat on it. I'm taking this. Taking it. It's got a kitty cat.
So I want to say we probably want to do. It's gotta be the mimic
Okay.
because we didn't get the ghost writing. But I'm not gonna send you in to do spirit box. So let's go ahead and select spirit box, ultraviolet, violet, and freezing temps, and then select mimic, and then you can go. Make sure you do that too, Michigan.
Okay. Select mimic. I circled it. Now what do I hit to close the door or whatever? What do I hit to close? What do I hit to close things or do things? Her butt is poking out the door.
Yeah. So did you select the mimic and all the evidence for it?
Yes.
Okay. Has Michigan?
I don't know. He's not pushing the B button so we can hear him.
Well,
He's not talking.
Well, I'm dead. I don't know what I'm doing.
so just because you're dead doesn't mean anything. Go ahead and hit J. It pulls up your journal.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay. And then under your evidence.
It doesn't.
mark
Yeah, that chat. It
ultraviolet,
doesn't mean anything when you're
freezing
dead.
temps, And spirit box. And then select the mimic.
Yes, I got it.
Now Mono needs to go over to the keypad and close the doors.
I've been dead for so long, I thought I was actually dead.
I want to do this in Discord chat. I don't want to push buttons anymore.
You want to do what?
It doesn't do double. We turned it off where it didn't do double last time.
This fucker. Damn it! It was a demon.
Run.
We failed. Next one will be easier, right? I don't like being muted. I like hearing people scream and panic.
That's fair. I accidentally left. Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, you left me in the bathroom all alone.
I know.
I got scared.
Kitties. All the kitty emotes. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Welcome, Raiders. Welcome, Raiders! Welcome, everyone from Corbin was taken. Thank you for the raid, guys. Welcome to the stream. Aubrey.
Needs to leave too, then,
Welcome.
Yeah, let's all leave.
Alright, leave.
Okay.
I got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
I'll just make a new one.
Welcome to the stream. I hope you guys are doing awesome. Thank you for that raid.
Welcome back. I've got some jobs ready for you.
Yeah. I died so quick that I was dead.
Welcome to me getting scared like crazy.
I wasn't scared at all. I went straight to the basement. I was like,
I
let's
was
go.
mad that it was a demon. It just we didn't wait long enough to see the ghost rating.
No.
Alright, I fixed
feel like
the new.
I feel like it's been too long since I played. I'm like trying to remember everything. Alright, multiplayer. Click on it.
I completely ended it.
Looks like there are others out there in need of help.
Join.
Alright. We need a photo camera, at least.
We need something. I feel like
But
I was
yeah, I hope you guys
Yeah,
had a
we
good
need the
stream.
photo
Welcome.
camera
Let's see.
for
So at
the bones and stuff.
private.
I saw
There
a
you go.
bone. I was
Welcome to
just-
the madness.
I was-
Yes,
Yeah, in the
welcome.
bathroom.
Yeah.
Last scene playing Phasmo. You were playing Phasmo too. Nice. I bet you're a pro. Great.
I'm getting there. Hold on.
So now we're just waiting on Michigan's spot to join
Yeah, I accidentally closed it. Okay.
because he's
I feel that.
doing things and stuff. But if you're new to my stream, I'm a variety streamer. I do community night games, golf, things like this. We tried out Power Wash Simulator the other day. That was fun. And
wish
I
it
love
was
playing
like-
Stardew, Genshin. I do art streams where I paint Pokemons, mostly Pokemon. But yeah, that's me. That's what I do. Welcome, welcome. Have fun listening to me get paranoid by this game. And I probably shouldn't be, but I am. Things and stuff! Exclamation things and stuff, yes.
Okay, so I loaded in some
Did
extra
you go buy stuff? Okay.
I did, and I also added some stuff. Feel free to add on to it if you have the resources.
I believe I still have $0.
You should have gotten something.
A year and beyond.
Oh my gosh, 13 months! Holy cow, Splits, thank you! Thank
Still
you,
have
thank you,
$0.
thank you.
Okay.
I feel like
That's
I'm playing with the
impressive.
twins.
So I go this way. Click X that out. You said feel free to buy more stuff. What do we
Yeah,
need?
I feel like. So, in order to buy stuff, you have to go under the shop. You're currently under an equipment manager. That
That's
just
what I
allows
did
you to
this
add
last
things.
time.
Right, that just allows you to add things that you already own.
Oh. Well, I only got $65. I can't buy anything.
No, you don't. You have 2,000.
Oh. Is that the only thing I can buy?
No, hit the X where like on your equipment menu.
Oh.
Yeah. Now everything that you can buy has the blue, like the item. It's in a blue box.
Highlighted.
Yep. So you can select each item, and then you can hit buy depending on what you want. I highly suggest having at least 1 to 2 of each item that you can have.
Oh, I have to click buy though.
Uh-huh.
Buy. I'm just gonna buy all the things. I don't know.
Are
Be
we just gonna
careful
stay
about
in
how
Discord?
much money you spend.
You told me to spend it. Is it my money or all our monies?
It's your money.
No,
I would
got
just
$0.
be careful.
Oh, there's a notebook.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting we need to collect the bones. We need to take them.
I saw it. I just
Yeah.
didn't-
Yeah. Can I have my thing, please?
No.
I don't know if we have those or not, but okay. Alright, back now. And then I was supposed to equip that stuff, right?
You can.
We have 3 flashlights.
I feel like I'm in a horror film because there's twins
Yeah.
always following me.
Guess we don't really need 3 of everything, but
Trust me, I'll probably just die in 2 seconds.
1 year and
Um,
beyond.
but it does
yes.
help for sure. I mean, there are some things we can't have 3 of, so.
Well, I see 2 of you, so it's close enough.
Back in a minute, guys. I've got to see if the missus wants anything for dinner.
Dude,
Do we only have 2 flashlights on board?
can you guys change the way you look? Sorry.
Do you not own any flashlights?
Well, it says 2.
Yeah, so we currently have 2.
We need
I
3.
can add more.
I lose what I had, probably.
Here, I'll add another.
Because I feel like that's something super important.
I'll add another video camera. I'll add another spirit box. I can add a motion sensor here. The photo camera. We don't need 3. We only need 2.
If you
Actually,
die,
no.
the
I'll go
item
ahead.
stays gone. Ooh. It's people dying.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Unless it gets recovered, Splint. And that's what I was trying to do, is grab the shit.
I just died so quick, I couldn't help.
Yeah.
Are we ready?
I was born ready after I ready up.
Yeah. I'm ready
Which
to
one
go.
are we picking?
I did Willow Street. It's one of those other easy ones.
Trust me, we need easy at this point.
You have to
Splints
go.
wants to
You have
play.
to ready up again. Huh? You just volunteer Splint.
I'm trying. He's shaking his head. He looks very serious, like he's working on something.
He's also muted, so he can't hear.
No.
I see dead people. So it's good.
He's permanently muted. I
I
think.
can hear, I just can't speak.
Yeah.
And Kimono needs to ready, I think.
There we
Yeah.
go.
No,
Again?
Ready up. Yeah.
Are we
If
just
you
gonna
voted.
stay in Discord? Because that's I just felt
Yeah,
weird.
we can just
Hit
stay here.
B and B and if I die,
Yeah.
I'll shut up. If you die,
If
just
you
shut
if
up.
you
No,
do that, oh, well,
you don't have to
just
shut
don't
up.
hit the push to talk.
Yeah. I know we need to do like the local push to talk, and we can do that with like Spirit Box. We don't necessarily have to.
Yeah, if you just
whole time.
talk every now and then, we have to with the B button.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna get in, see some clues,
We're going in.
beat up some ghosts.
Let's go.
Breathe. Don't panic.
They're going in.
It's still daylight out for us, so we'll be okay.
What?
Alright. Remember we have.
Sorry, it's the only thing I see is twin, so I know what
You'll be
who is
okay.
who. I'm freaking out.
Summoned the ghost with a cursed object. Investigate it, but be
First time I've ever heard that complaint.
Corey
Jeez.
Miller. Detect a paranormal sound with a parabolic microphone, EMF reader. Have a member of your team escape the ghost during a hunt. Okay, so I'll grab the EMF. I have a camera.
I got 3 things. I got the radio one, I think, the
Yeah.
one that
I got the
changes
journal.
Yeah, the spirit box.
And
I
I got the notebook
Okay.
and the
Okay.
crack lighter thingamajiggy.
So the basement has
Glow stick.
the power. So wait, we know where it's at.
You're only allowed to hold 3 things, correct?
Yes. So ideally, my goal, I want to try and see if we can find the bone, and then make sure you grab it and bring it back to the truck. So that's something we forgot to do. So I need EMF. Okay, I have the EMF. All right, let's go. I also have the key, so you can't open the door.
Let's go.
Get right into home.
Oh
apparently.
shit, I forgot it's this house.
What's wrong with this house?
It's got the glass door, so the ghost will see you. Be
That
careful
would be
about the
scared in real life.
lights. I just turned it on to see.
See?
Keep an eye out for bones. Let me know.
Only instrument of the
I'm gonna
garage.
put down the notebook. See if anybody writes.
Okay.
How do I use this glow stick again?
Right click and you just look for ghost fingerprints.
There it is.
Here. What are you doing, Michigan?
I don't know. What is this?
Hmm?
I don't know what I have in my hand.
Oh, that is the motion sensor. You put it on a wall, but I would suggest putting it in the kitchen.
You just put
Oh.
E or G. Sorry.
He's like pointing at the ground. You gotta be close to surfaces? Yeah. They'll show up like yellow or something.
Yeah. I'm gonna close the basement door.
You know it's gonna be the basement. I hate the basement.
I love the
not going
basement. I'm gonna run right down there. Let's go.
Did you go into this room, Mono?
No.
I don't think any of us did.
I haven't went into any of the rooms.
Can you put the, did anyone grab a, video camera?
I did not grab a video
no.
camera.
I put the
I got
EMF in here. Can you put the journal in here too, Mono?
Yeah, I'll go get the journal.
Next to my EMF. I'm gonna run.
Oh, let's see. Snappy! Master Check, hi. Okay. You can make me go in this bedroom by myself.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
Did you turn the light out?
Oh, it's been off.
Okay. Oh god.
Yeah. You can set it on the ground.
I threw it on the ottoman thingy.
That's fair.
I think we
Let's
need
see.
I hate that noise. That's the EMF machine, right? But I hate that noise.
Yeah, no, I'm just seeing if there's
Yeah.
anybody want to talk to me over here.
Oh, are you doing the spirit box?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna put a video camera here.
Boop, KimonoKat on the nose. But yes, posture check, thank you. Feet on the floor.
Okay, the ghost was not pooping. I repeat, the ghost was not pooping.
Okay, I'm gonna put that down. I'm also gonna put this motion sensor in here.
The garage.
I'm going to every room. This is what I'm gonna do.
I know. You do that.
Nothing here. I'm gonna go down the basement.
Are you actually talking to the thing? Because you actually have to talk to it to get it to respond.
Michigan.
No, I'm not.
Don't leave Michigan in the house by itself. Come on, Michigan.
Yeah.
Michigan, you gotta use V.
Come with us.
When you have that device out, you gotta use V to talk to the ghost.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that double?
No, it won't. It'll be fine.
So we managed to get some EMF. I don't know if we actually got 5, but...
Do you like bowling?
Just having dinner and I'll be back. Okay. Alright, Jay.
I'm convinced it's in that bedroom.
I think I'm just too confident. I'm over here like, hey.
I mean, we can find out from the journal shortly.
What should I use that doesn't require talking?
Are you?
I don't know.
What's
The
this?
temp thing, temperature.
You can take
That's the parabolic mic.
Does somebody have a camera?
Here. I have a photo camera.
Yeah, I need to learn to read. So do I. Don't feel bad.
What's my sanity? 87. Okay, that sounds not good.
Yeah, there's a little bit of ghost activity, but not much.
I don't see anything on the screen, on the camera.
I
Does
don't
somebody want to
either.
put the dots on the floor where we can see on the camera?
I know I put a motion sensor in there.
Oh, did you? Okay.
The EMP
let's see
or
that,
whatever
yeah.
this one thing. What should it read if I was?
The EMF
Yeah.
5.
Right.
So
No orbs.
that's the
No,
evidence
nothing.
EMF 5. I have an EMF reader in the one bedroom.
We keep running in the house by myself. I need
You
I
do.
need less
Cookies!
confidence.
And
That's
it
over
likes
9,000
to respond
cookies.
to those who are alone.
I'm gonna run out and pretend. I'm so scared. Not really.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can talk to this thing.
Who's all in here?
Wait a second.
Mm,
If I die,
actually,
let me know. I'm going to the bedroom though.
I'm
if
gonna
you
be right
if you
behind
die, let you know.
Sorry.
I'm right behind
You mean
you.
if
and
you're
I'll
if you
protect
look like you're
Philly.
gonna die? Is that what you mean?
Possibly.
I'm right behind you. I have
I
the.
can keep an eye on. Oh, y'all are both in the same
No
room
ghost
together. Is
Is
there
there
ghost
anyone in
riding?
here?
Did you say yes?
I think we
Yes.
have freezing temps. No.
I'm not getting anything.
I
Cookies.
had some cloudy breath, so we have freezing temps.
Oh, Michigan's leaving you.
No, I'm not.
I left him.
Oh, you left Michigan.
This is what happened
Run,
last
Michigan.
time.
Run,
She's
Michigan.
like, I'm bye, and then I'm dead.
Alright, so let's go ahead and put in freezing temps on our journal.
Yes. Oh, where's
Oh,
Michigan?
motion detector went off.
Did it?
Yep.
Oh shit.
What's
Yeah,
that mean?
okay. So that means it's in the bedroom.
Is the camera in the bedroom?
Yes, it is.
We got orbs? We got anything? I don't know.
No,
Just
no
kidding,
orbs. I didn't see any ghost writing in there.
This did not work.
I guess we could probably put dots in there. I'm gonna go. Someone want to come with me so it doesn't target me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Alright.
Do I get a
Also, do you-
baseball bat? What?
Sure. Do you have
Do you want to
another
come with
video
me so you
camera?
could be a sacrificial lamb?
What, lady, sir?
Do you have another video camera that we can put up?
There's one on the
No.
wall there.
There's one on the ground too.
I will set up this. Hold on.
Yeah.
There.
I was gonna say, let's set that one up on the bed, facing out the door.
Let's see.
I was gonna set this on the bedside thing. I just know it's less likely to
Flashlight on the
respond
monitor,
if
yeah.
we're both together.
Oh, I see all the dots. You guys are in there.
Mhm.
You just hit G to set it, or what?
You hit F.
Something just hit the floor in front of y'all.
Yeah.
Something
Not
hit the
EMF
floor
5.
way over in there.
Yeah, I know. Alright, well, I put the things in. Come on, Michigan, let's go.
I hit F.
Yeah.
Nothing's
Go.
dropping.
Something went under the bench. Something flew under the bench way over in there. But the
Yeah,
motion
that's
detector
what-
didn't go off. That's weird.
No, it's not there. Did it
It didn't
shut
go off
down
with
at
all of you in there.
No, I hit F and nothing
Okay.
happened. I still have it.
EMF was going, but it didn't hit 5.
But the motion
I-
detector didn't even go off. You gotta turn off your flashlight when you're looking at the computer.
Yeah.
Right click, yeah.
Also, the dots are kind of facing the wrong way. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Shit. Oh, there it goes.
Oh. Did they write in a journal at all? Or
Oh,
anything?
there goes the door. It just shut the door.
So it's hunting?
No. No, it's not. It just shut that door. It's definitely in the bedroom and right.
Okay,
Not
it's
where
the
the camera's
journal.
at. Oh my lord. Alright, Michigan,
What do
we're
I-
going back in.
Do I hit on the journal thingamajiggy? Ghost? No. Evidence? Here you go, evidence. What do we want to mark off on evidence already? Freezing temps?
Freezing temps is what we got.
Okay.
I'm coming, Mish.
But nothing else
I'm
yet.
running behind you, by the way. We're going into this bedroom. I'm setting this down, and then we're getting out.
Or do I sent this down?
Motion, it's in there with you.
Is it? It could be us, though.
Oh, it could be you, yeah. Never mind. I forgot. You guys didn't know too.
I'm leaving. Let's go.
Michigan. Michigan's at 69.
Come on. Nice.
Yep, right, I always am.
I'm holding
Yeah,
the door
I don't
open.
wanna
Let's
make-
go. Okay,
Yeah.
Just in case.
No, orbs move differently than flashlights, so.
Yeah. I also have that other camera set up.
Oh, y'all didn't move the little things yet. How do you switch to
No.
cameras? By using the mouse?
The mouse.
That's the one I
What
sent.
is that, you?
I sent that one.
Oh no, that one's kind of just like.
I want to make sure that the pillow was, comfortable.
Yeah. It's an awkward. Oh, there it goes. Opening
No,
the
I
door.
hold down F and all of a sudden it disappeared. And I was like, okay, I guess that's where it goes.
Interesting. So.
And if you right click, it turns your flashlight on and off. Michigan.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. I keep looking at the camera with it on. There's still no
I
ghost
knew it was one of you.
orbs. Yeah, I know. So we're gonna mark off ghost orbs as a no. Which means there's still a bunch of other stuff.
Spirit box, which I'm not gonna use.
Ultraviolet.
Kills for
I didn't see any ultraviolet stuff yet.
It also wasn't active. It might now, especially since it was hitting the door.
Okay.
Do you have the ultraviolet thing?
Mm-hmm. I can drop
Can
it if you want.
drop it?
Well, I'm gonna go to the bathroom in the truck. Is that cool? Okay.
You already went in your pants. Why didn't you go in the truck?
Alright, I'm coming. Alright, the lights are out. I think the power is off. Michigan, Mono, let's go. We're going together.
What? Where's Michigan?
He went to the bathroom.
Oh. Now I gotta go in the house? Oh, God.
Yeah.
These are like, I swear, the crappiest flashlights in the world.
I'm going in.
I'm behind you. I can hear your breath. Or is that mine? That's mine.
I think it's yours. Yeah, fingerprints. It's hunting! Or it's about to. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
How do I run? Like that?
Shift. Holy shit, that was close.
Does that mean we survived a hunt?
Right there. We're good. We're good. We're good. It was literally right there, though.
Does that count as surviving a hunt?
No,
Oh.
it was not
Dang
actually
it!
hunting.
Sorry, I went to the truck and got a beer.
Well, we have thingies, which is ultraviolet. Oh, fuck. That scared the shit out of me. I wasn't expecting it.
Sorry?
Ultraviolet, so it's a demon, a mimic, or a gem? A djinn?
Djinn, yeah. What the djinn
What we
is...
got from that,
fetch.
then?
Okay, it's a territorial ghost that will attack when threatened. It also has been known to be able to travel at significant speed. The djinn will travel at a fast speed if its victim is far away. Turning off the location's power source will prevent the djinn from using its ability. But we didn't have an EMF 5. So it's down to, I mean, it could be an EMF 5. Are you gonna go investigate, Michigan?
Yes.
Okay.
He's brave. Poor Chicky's already in there.
Yes. He went into the garage though.
Yeah.
Careful. It's in that bedroom.
It moved the camera. Camera's on the floor.
Oh, that's fun. Moved something else too. Maybe move the dots to somewhere else, but it's up to you, Michigan. Is there any writing in that journal?
The journal on the bed.
Joe.
The little notebook.
Oh, hold on, my cat's murdering me in real life.
Does the notebook have any writing on it?
No, none.
Okay. So no ghost writing. So it can't be a demon.
There's no whatever it's called.
EMF. Means
Maybe needs to
it
go
brings
pick
it
up
down
those
to a
cameras.
mimic.
So,
I mean, it was a demon last time, so chances are it could be a mimic.
Yeah.
Alright, Michigan, you probably should come back out. Your sanity's
Yeah.
dropping a little bit.
It's in a lull right now.
Yeah. Drink water. Yeah, I'll still have too much salt sanity. Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Hey, we try to preserve our sanity. But I'm convinced it's a mimic. We don't have ghost writing. We didn't have EMF. We had ultraviolet and freezing temps. The only
I haven't
other
seen
thing
anything
would
on
be
the
a spirit
dots.
box. Yeah. So
I'm gonna
the only
No
guess.
other
ghost
evidence is
writing.
spirit box.
Yeah, we didn't have any ghost writing.
I'm just gonna guess.
So-
That's it. I
It's a
guess.
mimic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm doing different.
Okay. Make sure you select spirit box too, Mona.
Oh. Like as an X?
Yeah.
Oh, you did have a spirit box thing?
We didn't get evidence of it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh look, there's a motion sensor.
Yeah.
It really does like hanging out over there. Huh. Okay.
I don't mess with mimics. I say we're out.
Guess we'll
Yep.
see what it is.
We're good.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer having a witch on her team house. She always said that. LOL. But meant sanity. Too much sanity. Huh? Did I hear right?
No,
Salty!
It was a poltergeist. Interesting.
What?
I got 25.
How we get that so off? What did we check that we shouldn't have?
Let me see. Ghost, poltergeist. Ghost writing. We didn't actually have, I guess it wasn't freezing temps, it was ghost writing, but we didn't have any.
Yeah, we didn't have any ghost writing. We
No, yeah,
had the
I
journal
looked at. Yeah, I looked at it. Yeah.
in 2 different places.
Unless you can turn a page or something, but.
Oh yeah, I guess it makes sense that it was throwing things.
Wrong room, I guess.
No, it wasn't the
No.
wrong room, Splint. It was definitely in that room. The motion.
Yeah, the motion sensor kept going off in that room.
I went in. I tried to fight the ghost, but the ghost said no, and then.
We need to buy anything.
The issue is I'm not scared.
Which one did we just do?
Anyways, can one of you guys at least change?
We just did
your
Willow Street,
avatar?
I think.
I just feel so
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, I'll change my avatar.
Yeah. I just feel like
Doesn't matter,
He's so
Michigan.
confused.
Do twins make you uncomfortable?
no. This is like what one's the ghost? Is it them or?
One's the mimic.
Like you guys are literally doing that.
Alright. HP Court is what I voted for.
I got
see.
$25. I'm balling.
I'm getting a brain freeze. Ah! Welcome, Raiden. Welcome, Raiders. Welcome to the stream. It's me, DS. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome. I hope you are having a wonderful evening and had a good stream. There you go.
And we are expert ghost hunters.
Yeah, definitely.
Resident Evil
Even-
3. All the spooky
That's
games
a good one,
tonight.
too.
Yeah. Doing spooky games tonight. So.
Okay.
Well, it's not really that smooth.
Alright. Reading up.
Yes, yes.
Alright.
Yes, ma'am.
See Michigan in front of me.
You guys actually don't have to vote on the contract, by the way.
No, I was just making sure I was ready.
Welcome everyone
You ready to
from
go?
Intimate
Yeah,
DS stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. Happy Friday.
Ready, Mono. Going in.
And we need at least get 6 rounds. Let's go. I'm going
Wish me
in.
luck.
I'm gonna see the wind temperature. I'm gonna see everything.
Yeah, take the thermometer with us.
Where
I
do we
love
put
how.
We're here.
You
it?
just
Lady, you're the
hold
one
it.
with the white?
Accordingly before starting the investigation.
Yes.
Or,
No report this time. Be careful.
Grab your
The zone is
flashlight.
blind.
I'm gonna grab a notebook.
I'm grabbing EMF. Alright. Damn, this one likes for us to be alone too.
It's a very kinky one. It's a very
Below
kinky one.
25 sanity. Ooh.
Yeah. Capture a photo of the ghost and
There, I got 3 things.
detect the noise. Okay.
And I got temperature and I got a notebook. Clues. Oops, I'm dropping you.
Michigan, you drop your flashlight.
I'm walking
Don't
out
do
like, yeah,
that.
go.
She gets spooked.
Alrighty,
Yeah.
backing up.
Right? He's already dropping his flashlight. We're already in trouble.
I fell down the truck. Oh, shoot. These are horrible stairs.
Big fart. Fart
I don't
stairs.
know, I was about to say, it was fart stairs. Must have been popular in the 90s.
Illinois, Michigan.
Yeah.
We will get ghost activity, but keep in mind it will not hunt until after the 5 minutes is up.
5 minutes? That's a long time.
It gives us 5 minutes before it'll hunt.
That's
I'm gonna leave
almost.
that here.
That's all the ghosts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that there. The notepad, just to see what's up. I'm so scared.
Power. Nope, that's the basement. That can stay shut.
No, where's the basement? I have to show everybody that I am scared of everything. I'm gonna leave the temperature in here.
Oh god!
Why did you go back?
I'm afraid.
I'm just shut
That was me! Turtle gave you a heart attack! He rated! Oh god.
Anyways, I left temperature in bathroom, I left
Ugh.
note in.
Thank you, Turtle.
Anyways, I was trying to go to the bathroom and Kimono was like, hey, what's up? And I was like, dude, I'm trying to go to the bathroom.
There's the camera. Do we want to set up these cameras yet?
Well, it looked like it threw a thing.
Has it been 5 minutes yet?
Oh god, that's terrifying.
No, we still got 2.5.
Oh hey. getting colder over here.
The notepad's here. We'll see what's up there.
There's one in here. Oh, it's not in here. I think it's in the hallway.
Well, I'll take the notepad.
I put 2 notepads in the house, or I put 1 notepad in the house.
If it's in the hallway, I'm taking it right here.
I'm grabbing the camera real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I set down. I'm gonna set it here on the ground.
Put down the camera and make it stay in a good position.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep that guy. I have it facing down the hall. It's not freezing temps, but it's
Do they not
cold.
stay on when you set them down?
They do, as long as you set them down properly.
I don't know that I set it
You
down
have to hit
properly.
the mouse to
Activate it.
click. Yeah.
Okay, it's not working.
Oh, wait. Oh, did you hit G or F?
G.
Okay, so you have to hit F to set it down.
Okay.
Yeah.
G is throw.
Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna find out if I can hear anything.
Now it still won't open, but okay. We'll just leave it there.
Temperature in the hallway is about 55 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
How do I get out again? I hate that. I can turn around and I don't even know the way out.
It just
You
fucking
clipped it.
paused
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I was
You
wondering
went
if you
third
did
off.
that. Yeah. Oh, I'm hearing something going on.
Yay! Oh my god.
have
Oh
missed
my
you.
god.
Is
I
it?
missed
Are
you
you here?
too.
Is it an F or not F? But
No.
Oh,
Five,
you guys
seven.
got 51 seconds before it starts doing its stuff.
Okay, we had a little bit of activity upstairs in the
Yeah.
hallway.
They moved that whatever goes.
I didn't get anything parabolically.
Hi, I miss you too. I hope you're doing awesome. Shane, can you give Jamie a shout out pretty please?
The temperature is 60 degrees. So that's not.
I'm gonna go see if I can get Spirit Box.
Yeah, there's 23 seconds and then it's gonna start doing
gonna-
its business. How are the spooks?
Okay.
I've already screamed once because of a raid.
Yeah.
Hello,
Oh,
did you
yeah.
just say? I hope you're doing
Alright,
awful.
I think
No, awesome! Awesome! No, awful!
I'm going back up.
Oh, Momo! Momo! That's funny though.
I'm gonna set this
It
down
might
here.
cut out at a horrible time. It sounds like it.
Hey. Is there anyone here?
Me.
We're on.
Oh, hey.
Huh? What?
Where
Did you
are
find
you?
something? Hello?
Oh god.
What?
You? I was doing the thing so I could talk to the ghost.
I know. Hello? I'm scared. Momo knows my language. No. We are about to witness a squad wipe.
Well, that's not a great spot for that, but... Let's see.
I'm saying maybe one on the.
I'm turning your light off.
Oh yeah. Oh, thing.
Oh my god, your guys' fat heads are in the way.
Hey.
My fat head. You're in front of
Who
us.
put a camera down and didn't turn on night vision?
Not me.
Couldn't turn it on. I told you it wasn't working. I turned it on. I put it down. I picked it up. I turned it on. I put it down. Picked it up. It
There
just
we go.
wouldn't work.
There it is. I have it on.
Oh, that's
Dude,
the one
it's a
I put
fork.
down.
Only turn it
It's
on.
a fork. Is that scary? Okay.
Yeah, it
She
should've
starts
been.
saying that, it's time to move on.
Check memes in Mona's cord. I scared her. No.
I'm so scared.
Don't look. Don't look.
My sanity is the best.
Our sanity's pretty good right now.
Let's see.
Remember, one of the things that you have to do to get the achievement is to get below 25, right?
25, yeah.
Oh, let's
Wow.
go.
Yeah.
Basement.
I get extra, but not that
Get that money. Get that money.
Get that money, money.
It's turning something on and off.
Last scene playing Chicory, a colorful tale. I hope I said that right. Join Jamie Wavy Games, the puzzle-loving, point-and-click adventure streamer who is all about first-time runs and good vibes. She's been painting in Chicory. I hope I said that right. Power wash, putting her worries away,
I see.
and
Okay,
even golfing with her
I'm gonna see
Jamily.
if there's anything on there.
From fundraising fun to random sim escapades, every stream is a fresh journey, full of positivity and cheer.
So we don't have
The good
freezing
kind.
temps.
Stop by for a jam-packed good time. I like that, jam-packed. We all
Has to
costume
be
dot.
in one of
Nice.
these. I'm gonna put the notepad over here.
You're welcome.
Would you mind moving the dots projector a little bit more up and to the right of the camera?
Yeah.
Like towards the
Spot on.
stairwell.
Full of jam.
Like
Yep,
above
jam packed.
Sorry, where?
Yeah, like
pretty
in
good
front
description.
of it.
Did we put down any
facing
motion
towards
sensors yet?
the wall.
This wall?
Uh-huh.
Like right here, because or
A little further back towards the camera. That's good. Yeah, you can just drop it.
and that's F.
G.
Oh shit!
He is throw it on the ground.
Oh!
Run!
It's not hunting. It's not hunting. It's not a 10.
He's dropping his sanity though.
Goodness in my ear, and I was like, ah!
It whispered in your ear?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It licked my
It
ear
was
too.
close by.
It licked his ear.
Like that, damn.
Yeah, your sanity's down to like 49 now.
Yeah.
Between 49 and 50.
Why am I only one brave enough to get here? Come on, guys.
Get scared, Joe.
You can leave
I'm
now.
so scared.
What's the EMF at?
Nothing.
Alright, I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit.
Oh shit! Oh, that made me jump.
Biscuit risking.
It popped. It popped. It popped one of the light bulbs.
Oh no.
And I saw it.
Who does that?
I don't know, cause I get new. I'm gonna die here, so.
Cause you're alone, I'm coming up. Oops.
Oh.
I meant to grab it, not activate it. I'm coming.
Now I can move the dots. Can't see anything.
Yeah, I know. I realized that. I'm on my way up, dude.
I suggest we change it to risk for the brisket. For the brisket. Yeah. I do we get brisket if I
It
change
popped
it to
up
that?
right here and
In
gave
this
me a
area
good,
here?
right here where I am. It just went boo, basically.
Do I get brisket?
Alright, so
Okay.
I'd be
I'll
happier
change
with
it.
brisket than biscuit.
And then this thing popped. The light was like.
oh shit, it's like definitely. I'm gonna do this. Can you grab
There.
the camera?
I changed
Actually,
my
I'm gonna
stream
grab the
title.
camera.
You're happy?
So this. All right, let's go. Let's go downstairs.
The stream title is now risk it for the brisket.
I see
Oh,
that.
God.
That's wonderful.
Laser beam.
Michigan, you're at 35% sanity.
Dude, that's
You're almost to the 25 requirement.
Just
You're
needs
doing
one
good.
more
But it has to
spook.
be an average.
One more spook.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all gotta get scared then too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's average? Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Oh,
Alright,
risk it
well,
for
we
the
haven't
brisket.
gotten Ghost Orb, and he said that it was like right in this little hallway area. So
Mm-hmm.
no ghost orb.
He's still in there.
Of course, yes.
I'm trying to get my
I've seen.
25.
He's not on the map. There he is. He's in the downstairs. This one.
It just knocked down the camera.
Jeez.
Downstairs. You want to flip over the camera again, Michigan? To face towards the stairwell?
Hello?
Thank you.
Does that work? I don't know how that works.
No, you have to hit F to set it down on the ground.
Why don't I hear music?
You need to set, not throw.
Yeah.
I'm hitting F right now.
Crouch down.
I'm pressing
and
F for
face
doubt.
Yeah, you have to crouch down and look at the floor to set it down.
Why do I hear music?
There we go. Because it turned the music on.
What percentage am I before I cry?
You're at 29. 25%. But we need to
Get out
collect
of the house! Get out of the house!
Yeah, you gotta leave now, dude.
You're at 25. Get out. All right, everybody else is gonna get down now.
I'm the legendary guy. I did it first.
Spirit activities going on.
You're special.
God, Mama!
Enjoy yourself.
Mama! Why, Mama? I'm barely in the house. She's scaring me.
I can't help you.
There's one on this camera.
Have we tried the
Alright.
violet thingy image yet?
I didn't see anything anywhere near where it was at.
I didn't see anything. All the stuff we have.
So we don't
up
have
there,
ultraviolet.
Something's up there, obviously. But...
Oh, God!
I don't think we have any ghost writing.
The dots are just in a bad place to even take pictures.
Do we have what we need?
Well, yeah, no, we don't. Mono, get out
Oh,
of there.
it's freezing.
Just because it's freezing doesn't mean anything.
It was cold in there.
Yeah,
No.
you can have the
But you left the door
thing,
open.
but
That's fine.
we didn't actually have freezing temps. Is the thing.
No,
No,
it
if you
was
leave
like-
the front
it was
door
like-
open, it might show up in the trailer.
That's
That's
what I,
bullshit.
yeah. But, it's about, it was like 58 average.
I'll tell you that.
Up top.
Yeah, we're at a 55% average.
I went crazy, guys. Lock me up.
So evidence, we have none yet.
None.
None.
Ah!
We know for sure we don't have freezing temps and ghost orb.
Not
so
yet,
far
anyway.
We don't have EMF or dots, but there's no telling.
We don't have all the tools to understand.
No.
Here.
The house is so dark.
I know.
At all. Michigan, you gonna die.
I
Yeah,
don't care.
yes. We're at a 23. Mono, you're at a 68.
Michigan needs to
Wonder what
be
it
our
is.
trailer person now.
I want to know what it is. We're horrible ghosts.
It's good time.
If you see it up close, you're probably not going to survive.
I'm pretty sure I just seen movement upstairs before you guys got up there, but I'm not sure.
So I should lock.
Can someone turn that light off in the hallway? I need someone to turn that light off in the hallway. Upstairs.
I locked her in.
Oh shit. Wait, what?
No,
Lock
I
me
shut
in.
the front- I shut the
Mona,
front door.
yeah, I need
Is
you
it
to
up?
turn that light off, please.
How do I open the door?
You
I
just
don't
push
know.
it. He's holding it shut.
No,
Michigan,
I'm not.
No,
stop!
no, no. If the
I am
door is
not.
shut, the ghost is hunting.
No, it's not.
No,
It's
I
not.
shut the door.
It's not hunting. We're not at
Yes,
night
it is.
activity.
Here.
Now it is. Yes,
Get-
you need to
get-
hide.
only time you can't open the door is when the ghost is hunting.
Not like I was not. Yeah, that was not me.
Still alive.
I'm outside.
What's your?
I don't know my.
I think you're
Can-
safe, Mono.
Can you open the door, Michigan?
No, it is open.
It's open.
Is
You're good. Come on.
You get out while you can.
Come on, Mono.
I don't know how to get out.
It's like
You got
Alright,
this.
Michigan. Alright.
Oh, dude.
You guys are here.
I didn't do
Okay.
that.
I'm going upstairs. Hey, that's a ball moving.
Yes, it is.
That's an orb.
No, that's not.
It's a different
What is
type
it?
of.
That was the ball that's up there.
What does it
The
mean
kid's
when something
playing with the
moves?
ball?
Nothing?
Wait, did you see the screensaver and think it was something? Or...
No, that was like
I
a
did
ball
see the
moving.
ball move.
Yeah.
What does that? That's really nothing.
That's just playing.
It tried to get me, Jamie.
It did.
Y'all need to get back up in there and get more scourge.
I took a picture of nothing.
I was trying to get up there. Michigan. If you're going up there, turn off the light that's at the end of the hallway.
Yes.
To be fair, he should not be in the house.
No, he shouldn't.
No.
'Cause
No,
he's
it
gonna
should be your
first.
turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the motion sensor.
Also, why were you asking them when you were staring at
did,
the light?
Momo.
What's going on?
Because I'm in
The trailer.
thing. Yeah.
Oh,
No,
I'm
no,
She
no.
was
I mean
watching it on
earlier
there.
when you were in the house
Oh,
staring
is
at
it
the
hunting?
light.
It is. Damn it.
You killed Michigan!
No, he's not dead yet.
Run, Michigan! Get out of there! Or hide. It's hunting.
Michigan,
No,
you
I'm
got...
dead.
Oh, are you dead now? Okay, there it goes.
I see an arm. A shadow of an arm.
That's it. Yeah,
I'm trying
he's
to help
actually
the
dead
team.
now.
That's what I'm doing.
He's actually
Is that his
dead.
arm?
Yes, if he is dead.
Is that his?
Yeah, that's what I said. Is that his body? His arm
Yeah.
shadow?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm going upstairs.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna die.
No, you won't.
Sorry, I was
It's
just
hunting.
trying to get people scared.
Oh, jeez.
No, Momo. Not allowed. Where did he die at? Did you take a picture? Oh, yeah.
Over
Okay.
here. Yeah, I got it. I got the picture.
Oh, did you? Okay.
That guy was a legend.
We actually have freezing temps.
Do we?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So we can measure those now. Or mark that down in the journal.
Yeah.
Didn't even get to hear it. Hello. Had it turned down too low? No.
Well, we're at a collective 38%.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so we have freezing temps. That doesn't do us shit.
Nope. We're not finding any.
I haven't had
Dang.
ghostwriting. I'm gonna
Oh.
see if I can get spirit box. Oh no. I'm back.
Okay. Huh?
Said come back.
Okay.
I'm gonna go see if I can get spirit box and I might die, so
You want me to
Find
stay?
yeah,
Boogie the
stay here.
Okay.
I would say watch the camera.
Since I'm dead, I'm gonna go get a ghost spear.
Are you
With him
here?
being
No.
dead, your average psych level or whatever should be even lower.
Should have put down some more motion sensors or something. Oh, never mind. It's going off the mission sensor.
Did it?
Mm-hmm. That might be you, though. I'm not sure. Went off again.
No, I'm in the closet.
It went off again. There's stuff going on upstairs. The lights are flickering.
Are you cleaning out that closet?
The lights are. Oh, I saw movement on the dots. There's like. There was all kinds of movement on the screen. Are you dead? Okay. Toiler, can you venture? Oh, it turned on the lights upstairs, running around. Or is that you upstairs running? That's you upstairs running around.
Sorry, I muted so I could try and talk to it, but then it just decided to start hunting. I hid in the closet.
I tried
Yeah.
to get into the closet and
So
I
you
couldn't.
said that we had dots. Okay. It's an Oni then.
Sun intensifies.
Freezing temps.
Fire
and
Pokemon
dots.
will appear in the Safari Pokemon to level 30. Nice. Nick Nothing, thank you for the lurk, man. I caught that Pokemon.
Okay, that makes sense.
What is it?
Onis are much more active whilst people are nearby and will drain their sanity faster when manifesting.
So what are we marking off so far?
We
Just
have,
freezing temps?
We have dots and freezing temps. And then we're just gonna say Oni.
Okay.
I think we should leave. Alright. Everyone got Oni?
Yep.
Wait, how do I do that?
You want the X on dots.
There we go.
And yeah, there you go. For Oni, and then we're going. Okay. Let's go.
Let's leave.
Find out if we were right.
Killed my teammate. We should leave.
We didn't get thing, but that's okay.
No, it's the other
Nope.
one.
Morai.
Welcome back.
Yeah,
There's
50
jobs
50.
ready for you.
That's okay. We got photos. We got something.
Legs. We have better luck when Legs is playing.
I have $102 off of that.
Right? I like Tanglewood a lot because it's easy to use.
What do you use the salt for?
For them to walk through it.
There's sanity medication? You can take medication to bring your sanity back up?
Yep.
We should have gave that to Michigan.
Hey. My insanity was great before we
Yeah. You died. It was so good.
Alright. I was gonna go back to Tanglewood Drive.
Come on, you're so big. I'm trying to.
Jamie, you want to play?
There's room for one more.
Jamie wants to hunt Ghost.
Well, you're an expert, because I'm not.
No. I understand those feels 100%. I have not played this game in forever. All us scaredy cats. I mean, I would because you're awesome, but I can't right now. It's okay. We miss Momo. Momo could play too. Momo's gonna hide in the chat. What is that?
That's how tall you are.
Oh, jeez. I'm a giant.
Yeah.
Gee. I know. It's okay, guys. It's okay. Hold on, let me do a thing. Let's see. Okay. Are we just readying up? Y'all are ready?
Oh, oops, sorry.
Oh! Scared. How about all the notifications?
Alright. We're going to Tanglewood. It's ready up and go.
I already readied up once. What happened?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Probably me asking what shit.
Breaking it. No, you know, y'all did clip stuff. Y'all clipped twice.
And get set up before setting
Oh
sail.
no. I'm scared.
I've got a report that suggests a
Yeah,
possible ghost
okay.
sighting.
When people are alone. What the fuck? This asshole. Witness the ghost event. So
Average sanity?
Keith Bailey. Alright. Let's go. I love how we
No.
walk up the EMF.
Right?
Actually-
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I'm going to this back bedroom.
I'll go in the basement.
Huh? You can go in the basement.
You can go wherever you want.
That's where I'm feeling good.
Everything. Oh, no, not the flashlight.
The flashlight. Damn, Mono.
Not
Yeah.
the flashlight.
Messing with you.
The haunted flashlight.
Okay, I got
I threw the flashlight out immediately. Is that just toothpaste on the mirror? I think that's just toothpaste.
It's
Yeah,
me,
it's
by the way.
like-
I'm coming.
Made me hope it is.
Well, I have a lot of things in the basement. Let's see what happens.
It could be in the kitchen.
Could be.
Oh.
We got 5 minutes anyways, so I'm gonna sit here
Yeah.
for 5 minutes or 4 minutes probably.
Yeah.
If it writes to me, I'm gonna write back saying, "Dear diary."
Dear diary.
Why are these people so
You're
stupid?
special.
No, you don't. Oh, it didn't make the rain noise this time. You failed.
I want to
I
do
used
this.
to do a little bit of haunted stuff, so this thing. Oh, look at that Ouija board. Can we do that? Or
Oh yeah, you need a picture of it though. I'm leaving the camera there.
You're
No, 'cause I'd be like-
special.
how hot are you? And it says
What?
9 out of 10.
What was that? I heard.
That was something else, yeah. I don't know.
It's like somebody's phone vibrating.
Yeah.
At least you went to the phone.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm in the basement. We'll see what happens.
Don't die.
I don't die. I never died yet in this game. many more seconds do we have? Or seconds, minutes?
I don't know.
Gosh, like who's our our commander?
You have 2 minutes left.
I'm gonna stay down here for that, and then I'll leave with all this if it doesn't work.
Oh, nice kitchen view. With the camera there.
Yeah. Oh,
Good
hey, I
camera
found a
setup.
bone.
Did you? Let me
Just
take a
picked it
picture.
up. Yeah, I found a hand bone. Bringing it.
Okay.
Knick knack, paddywhack.
Give a dog a
I
bone.
just picked it up. I didn't take a picture of it. Rip.
Okay.
How dare you?
Did you open this
I
dresser
know.
drawer?
Yes, I did.
Oh. I just
Oh.
closed it.
Did you guys take both cameras for the single camera?
Yeah, I have
taking
a
it.
camera.
Okay.
No, I took.
Guess we only have one camera.
Oh,
don't know how you-
okay. I only brought out one. Okay.
I took a lot of instruments.
I'm gonna take a motion sensor and put it in the kitchen too.
I'm just testing out the basement. If it doesn't work in like a minute after,
Oh,
just
that's one dirty baby blanket. That's gross.
do they have a washer? Repeat, do they have a washer?
Why are you in the basement?
Because I can.
It's spooky down there.
And I'm just saying though.
I'm not going. I can't go in the basement. You can't do it. You can't do it.
I don't get.
Sure,
scared.
so whatever you say. Oh my god, that's gross. No.
I don't get scared about this. I don't know. I just.
You're lucky.
Literally.
26 seconds.
Okay.
I'm gonna look for. If nothing happens, I'll move upstairs
Okay.
and see what ones.
Did you set up another camera or no? No.
No. I was setting up a motion sensor and dots, which I don't think we can see dots on the camera. So I probably should.
Usually you can see dots on the camera.
Yeah, that's just how I have it set up. I'm gonna go
Move
set
it.
up more. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
fine.
I just grabbed another dot.
About 10 seconds.
Alright, Michigan, you're at 70%. You're doing good on our sanity levels here.
Obviously, it's me.
Self-love isn't growth.
So the 5 minutes
Get
are
rid
done.
of the
Then?
stigma.
Probably.
I'm gonna look at both of these, and I don't know how fast it would work.
Oh, Momo.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, the 5 minutes is definitely up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Michigan, you're at 65.
I'm not. Yeah, exactly. Your camera, or your vision would be as.
No, go search it.
I'm looking at a couple of things. Nothing's happening. So I might have to go upstairs.
Alright, I'm gonna grab this other one.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm prepared for it to be in the kitchen.
Me too.
I need it to be in the kitchen.
Yeah, because we thought the kitchen. Oh, the camera moved a little.
Oh. It's glitching out, actually.
Yeah, what does that mean?
It's hunting.
Oh no.
Michigan, you need to hide.
Somebody over there doing dishes.
I'm dead. I'm on the fucking. No, I'm not dead yet.
Hide. Just hide.
It was hunting.
I'm literally looking down at the basement and like, oh well.
How do you tell when it's hunting and when it's done?
It was glitching and it stopped. Yeah.
Oh, down here, right? Activity?
Yeah. Not well. Yeah. When it gets to 10, it's usually hunting. I see you. All right.
So it's done hunting now?
Yeah.
Okay, Michigan, you can stop hiding and you can come out.
He's already he's on camera.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm putting things here and see what's up.
Okay.
I want to see if it's drawing.
Okay. Well, we can leave. You have to leave it to draw.
What's my insanity?
You are at 54. I'm coming in. I'm bringing EMF. Yeah, it was hunting for sure, because the
Yeah,
door
I was going
locked.
up. I was going upstairs from the basement, and all of a sudden it started flickering. So I don't know exactly.
You were
Alright,
probably
I'm gonna-
safe in the basement. Is probably what it was.
Either that or it is in the basement.
I'll go back now.
I mean, he has 50% in the basement, so.
I'm in the basement.
Yeah, activity is up to 5. Oh, it's about to start hunting. It's up to 6. No, never mind.
shit.
5.
Sure. Okay. So, I'm gonna.
Down to 3.
I'm going down with.
Oh, no, it's hunting. I think Michigan's gonna die. Hide, Michigan.
Yep. Get in the room.
Hide in the closet.
There it is. Michigan, you good?
I tried to run out. I'm not good.
You died.
No, you're not.
See what I am dead.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh.
as dead as a
Dang it.
doorknob.
Michigan!
No,
I think he
I'm over here
enjoys
trying to protect-
dying.
No, I'm over here trying to protect you guys.
So
and I'm
to
dying
go
every
to fest
time.
with me, Sister tomorrow. I don't want to go.
I get the thing is I'm not scared of the game, so maybe I need to be. I'm walking around with a baseball. It's like what's going on?
Lucky.
I guess I can look at your guys' sanity because you guys make me crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Can't take a picture. I don't know who has the camera.
I do. I need to go take a
Okay.
picture then.
You want to
Where's
take a
this
picture of
body
this
at?
body? Literally in the hallway.
Model 67, you're 51 or 50. I'm a ghost trying to help you guys out because I realize it's the only thing I can do. I get too
Where's this
cocky.
body?
Well, thank you because my parents would like to see that. So.
Killed my teammate.
Just give that.
But our teammate didn't leave.
No, I'm boxing. Oh, sorry.
No, you didn't shut the door. You have to hold the door shut.
Festival. Just hold the door shut. What do you mean? When something's after you?
Go into hiding, you need to hold the door shut.
Oh.
You have to hide in a room and hold the door shut.
So you like hold right click and just pull back the whole time?
Not right click, but left click, but yeah.
And then you just pull back?
Mm-hmm.
No fun. Definitely gonna have awesome food.
As a
Alright,
ghost,
what's the goal
maybe.
now?
See if I can catch anything.
I'm about to say, as a ghost, can I see something? Or
That's flashlight.
You can
on my
see
ground.
it. You'll see it wandering around. That's
Oh,
his
flashlight's
trailer.
picking me. No, it's hunting! Crap!
No. Get into a room and hide. Turn off your light and get into a room and hide.
oh, he's knocking stuff down in the.
You need to turn it off.
Yeah, he went to the front.
No! Come through the door! Oh my god, what the hell did I get taken into?
You done died. Shit.
You guys see that? He stuck his hands through the door and killed me.
Oh yeah, because he was like right there.
He's dead anyways.
Oh, this is fun.
And I have the camera, so.
Yeah.
Anyways, lady.
Is it on the ground at least?
I think so. I don't know. The flashlight's on the ground. Yeah, it's on my feet.
I did see the ghost.
He pulled me through the door!
Oh yeah, I can.
It's a ghost.
Alright. it?
Yeah,
No,
let's
go
face it,
get.
let's
You
go.
gotta go get the camera and take a picture of my body, right?
Yeah. It's good to take pictures of the bodies because their family wants to know.
Sure, they are usually.
My body's here. I'm gonna make out with it, mister.
There it is. Did it let you pick it up? There. Alright, now you gotta get out of there.
I'm gonna guess. I don't know if we had a splincy.
I saw Michigan's flashlight start flashing, and that's when I knew
Oh
there
yeah.
was trouble.
Yeah, I know. I'm over here arm wrestling a freaking ghost.
Who
You
knows
guys
where
are-
this guy is at?
So, as a dead person, can I determine what kind of ghost they are?
No, it's you can see where they are, but yeah.
Alright, well.
Hi, Rando! Welcome!
It's up to you guys.
Okay, 12.
Like I put the book down and I did the
Oh,
the
Worse
EMF.
than
I'm
the old
guessing a
creepy
shade.
way. Why
don't
did
even
they
care.
have to
I'm just
change
guessing
it?
something.
I'm gonna.
Jamie isn't creeping you out too.
We're gonna do that.
Listen.
I'm gonna say.
I was told to go behind the door and hold the door shut, not knowing that it could grab me through the door and murder me
I guess something different.
because I was holding the door.
Alright, oh no. Throw a guess out.
Yeah, throw a guess because we don't got anything.
Okay.
I feel like the worst Ghostbusters ever.
Yeah, I mean, we saw dots, right?
Just pick something. Did we actually see dots though?
Or did we have freezing temps or anything?
We didn't have shit.
Ah,
Put the notepad down. I put the E.
Yeah, we got
Easy
nothing,
down
so
and
just
nothing.
take something at this point.
We just need all the.
and just because of what I've seen doesn't mean what we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got tools at the damn time.
I'm just gonna put that.
Rando, the flashing and flickering lights means that the ghost is hunting, which means we need to go into hiding.
And
Yeah, it
You
was
got your guess,
hunting. It was
Kimona?
trying to murder us. Yeah, I picked one.
Okay, go. Find out which one of us is right.
not me.
4 voice actors from Genshin will be there. That sounds so cool, Turtle. Breakfast, my host
I
family
thought
fed
about
me
a
was
demon.
Nutella toast
wanted-
and
Oh,
coffee
yeah.
jam.
I thought about clicking it for the
Huh?
fun of it, and then I didn't.
Job's ready
There's
for
a
you.
demon.
I got it. That dude that killed me looked like a demon. That's why I
Why are you
picked
so
demon.
tall?
Nice. Look at you.
I
So
tried.
tall.
Level up unlocked. Crucifix or Brownstone High School.
Woo!
Which one?
We need more stuff
Uh,
to fight.
you just accept. You get
Oh.
Because you leveled up.
Let's see. Shop.
You didn't.
I haven't leveled
You
up
didn't.
yet. I can't even
Now
remember
Nutella.
I got
Oh,
144.
well, then guess they did. Wait, favor?
Now let's go to a prison or something.
Breakfast. That sounds
Let's
so
make it
yummy.
more scary.
What are you doing?
Can we go to like a prison or a jail?
Alright, let's
No!
go. We can go to prison.
It's
God.
not that scary when I go into a house.
I think Nutella is a chocolate spread. Yeah, I know it. Nutella is sweet and yummy.
I'm also tall constantly.
Sorry, my parents just called. No worries, Jamie.
Let's go to the prisons.
I hate the prison. I get lost.
Yep.
I'm gonna have my
Alright.
notepad. Let's
I've
do it.
added equipment. I'm ready.
That's for
Ready up.
chocolate thingies. Yes, I love those. They're so yummy.
I load in so quick. That's right.
Yeah, the loading times.
Recently
great.
closed due to some unexpected death. This facility now imprisons the paranormal. Dun dun dun. One night we did a tempura dinner and father offered us beer and smokes.
Oh, yeah, I can't. Let's see what we can
So
Okay,
yummy.
this one responds to everyone. Cool.
Oh.
Okay, Kimono, you have to, you know, we all have to hold hands. We have to, but just get into the
No,
game. Let's go.
no.
You have to be not scared.
Scared, alright.
To the left. It's hard to see in this.
I was wondering where the hell.
I think that's what I don't like is I can't see in this one even with the flashlight on.
Yeah.
That's why I get lost.
That is called the. We got 5 minutes, anyways.
Yeah.
That is not the room I want to. So it's better to be in a group or not in a group?
I'd be in a group.
Yeah, to you, it's better in a group. But I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I like being in a group.
So we just went
Also-
left, 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 left.
Yeah,
We gotta
I'm
go.
just exploring.
Gotta go right to get out.
Got a little tick on here. Not sure what you got there, Mona.
Nothing.
It's a black light to make sure everybody's okay.
Uh-oh. Did I lose you guys? No.
Oh, yeah, we went left. Sorry.
I don't know what happened. What happened?
He shut the door on me.
Yeah, sounds about right. Oh, hey. There's this room, too. Oh, that's the staircase. I don't want to go up yet.
I will definitely get lost in here. Imagine being able to hear ghosts talk and then one of them say mean things about you.
Oh,
Oh.
don't drop the
Shower
soap in
room.
here.
How would you react?
Hold on, I'm gonna drop the soap, guys. I'm dropping it.
Don't drop your flashlight.
Oh,
What is that on the floor? Oh, the soap.
Soap. More soap. Okay.
How would you react if they said mean things? I would leave that space for sure. But if I could hear them all the time, that would be super scary. I'd probably lose my mind.
Upstairs. Who did that?
Not me.
It sounded like it was in a cell.
What was that noise? The
No. The metal creak.
Yeah, it was definitely not me. I don't have no metal on me.
No,
I'm on a pick number between 12 or 3. 1, 2, or 3. 3. Why is there a light on over there?
Huh?
Or is that outside?
Those computers are on.
Oh, that's what that is. And like, if everything's out, how are the computers on? Lighting controls. Oh.
That turns on a light. Just, don't turn on too many. I just turned one on. I don't know where I turned it on.
I don't know. We'll find out.
The cell.
Oh.
Turns on cell. Okay. Well, I'm gonna leave that spirit box
Teaching someone test using dictionary is, well, fun. Oh no.
Michigan, that's a really creepy stance over there.
I'm sure it's been 5 minutes.
I'm trying to drop this.
I sure hope the computers
Is
aren't
there a
ghost
ghost town?
town.
No, I just wanted a kitchen would like the cafeteria would be a great place to put a freaking thing.
Is there someone else here with us? If you're here, can you tell us?
I put a notepad
Magic
and
card has been caught by Raid. Congratulations on catching the magic card.
Is there someone else here with us? Oh, I just got spirit box.
did you?
Yes.
So they responded.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything, but the ghost thing lit up. So, all right, let's
I
go.
did put a camera down though over there.
Well, it's been 5 minutes, so.
Alright, Mono and I guess we're gonna go back to the truck and regroup.
All you guys, not me.
Come on, Michigan! Don't die already.
Oh, I should lost.
You're lost?
No. I know where I am. Not really. I'm gonna pretend I know where I am.
Oh, that's cool. I'm playing a scary game, so please try not to scare me again.
Boop.
Alright, regrouping at the thing. Our sanity's pretty low, or pretty high. Sorry.
I'm gonna lock myself into a jail cell because it's supposed
Michigan, you gotta go right. No, go back out. Okay, go straight. Nope. Go straight. Go to the other side of the room.
Yep, there you go. You're going the right way.
Go all the way to the other side of the room. Okay, go through that opening.
Yep.
Skip the 2 doors on the left. Take the 3rd one. Or 3rd opening. On the right, I mean.
I can't hardly
Right.
see it. But...
Yeah, take that opening on the right. Not that one. Not the little one. Okay, right there. Right there.
There you
Go right.
And straight out.
Straight. Straight. You gotta tell him how to get out from the thing. There you go. That place is huge!
Yeah, it is.
Oh my, get hurt. Hi, Shade, welcome. The only thing scarier than a ghost is a ghost that would be able to solidify and take on a form of anything it wanted. For example, a super strong giant monster or a giant scorpion. Your dad was awesome. Nice. Sounds like you had a really good time, Blins.
Alright, so we had spirit box.
I did put that camera down in cafeteria.
Yeah, I see that. Watching to see if they get any like ghosty orbs or something.
Let's see. Evidence. Spirit box check.
Alright, I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick.
Okay.
Do it.
The Michigan has the lowest sanity because he got left in there by himself.
76, 78, or 79. It keeps going. I don't say anything.
I love how we all hold our hand toward the monitors, like.
I don't think I have my flashlight out.
No, you're just throwing your empty hand towards the monitor. Like,
I'm pointing.
no orbs.
I guess
No,
I'll
nothing.
get a beer because these ghosts are so scary.
Yeah, they're like dead silent right this minute.
We're bad.
There's like 0 activity. Zero, because nobody's in there. They're like, nobody to mess with. looks like they only respond to people being in the facility. There's like nothing. Flatlined. Everybody took a stretch break. Oh, that's why I flatlined. Everybody abandoned me in the truck by myself. Just kidding. Oh. If I wasn't playing a scary game, I'd go eat some ice cream. I want ice cream. I went for 14 days as an exchange student. How are you doing, Shade? What are you up to? Are you causing trouble? Hope some activity. A blip. Do I set up more than one camera?
Let's go.
How did I get the camera back? I don't see anything. Oh, Michigan's venturing in. Dun 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 dun. Shaggy, welcome. Welcome with your ice cream. You heard me say ice cream, didn't you? I want some ice cream. Watching Michigan attempt to not get lost. As he takes a right turn, tries to go through a doorway, but is struggling.
I'm
You can
still
go a
stuck over
little
here
bit
staring
lower.
at the screen.
There you go. Now you can go through the doorway.
I don't know what the other attraction.
There's no activity, so you're safe right
So many doors I open. I'm not making it back, guys. Sorry.
now. You're fine. Is that like the showers?
Yes.
Something going on in Cell Block A.
How do you know
I'm gonna
that?
see if I can talk to him. Wait, no, we already talked to him. We already had spirit box. We're good.
Mm-hmm. You know, cell block A. Oh, because you can look up and down on this map or something? Oh, God.
No. I just happened to remember that it was Cell Block A that he put that camera down in.
Michigan's headed back the way we were.
I'm looking for temperature.
Yeah. You have to let it, like, really
Lady did it.
take time. It's not like a immediate drop.
I'll let it go.
Your sanity was dropping pretty quickly.
Just because my teammates.
I want to go to one of those.
There you go.
Olsen, or however you say it. That is huge, so scary, right? It's like humongous, and I'm just watching Michigan like sit there
I'm getting
in the
There's
showers.
the goals. Yes. Whoa. Anyways.
Watching Michigan in the shower.
No,
I hadn't.
I'm not scared, and I think that's the issue.
Activity starting to increase.
I just went in.
No, it went back down.
I'm seeing your lights. Yeah.
Yeah, we all are getting close to each other.
Oh, dude.
Yo, what's up? You guys left me here. Like we said, most of the
We
time.
did not. I see Rain do it.
This is
Maybe starting.
Ghostbusters, not Ghostbusters.
Apologetic, staring apologetically.
I'm gonna follow you because you know
Okay. I'm using the parabolic microphone.
I'm gonna put the temperature up. I guess.
Is there a ghosty here? What's the ghost name? It should be on the bulletin.
Bradley Williams. Oh my gosh.
Bradley.
Thank you so much, McDonald's. Thank you for the 5 months. Thank you. She farted. Oh boy. Bradley is dead.
I don't know how well that's gonna help us.
Bradley ain't doing squat in that area.
Maybe not. Maybe he just isn't over here.
They might be on the other side or in the center of the prison.
Oh yeah. Oh, I guess we'll pick up these things.
Finding the towels weren't just provided was
Did you turn on
hilarious,
this light
though.
machine?
Oh no!
No, I don't.
Y'all had to air dry.
I wonder if I'm done. Alright.
Oh no. Paper isn't provided either. So I guess people carry backpacks around everywhere with all the possible supplies they may need. We can't hear you if you're talking to us. You're muted.
I did learn that you accept the tissue packets that they hand out when they're touting, like, oh, they're club or whatever. You're like, yeah, thank you for the tissues.
Freedom.
Came back.
Yeah.
We're go downstairs.
For now.
Yeah, so I don't think it's on that side of the prison.
Maybe not.
I'm just gonna drink this beer. You know, you guys. You know, I'm still ghosted. I just.
What in question was a squatty? Oh no.
Unbelievable.
No way. Inte appeared. The legendary Inte? Pokeball. Poke catch Ultra Ball. Play. Poke catch. Or poke start shocking. You don't know.
Kimono, you're a little bit radiated. That's what it's saying. Yeah. I think she's the ghost.
Let's see.
She's the ghost.
I'm the ghost.
Yes.
Shakti lost their marbles. Yes. Wrong game. Wrong game. It needs to be a command. Oh, she's going back in.
Yep. Guess
Well,
I'll
you have
go
to go
alone.
back. You have to go.
Did
back.
one of y'all take a camera with you so you can take a picture of each other's dead bodies? Probably a good idea.
No. I'm sitting here because this is my command. You have to.
Okay. Alright, well, if she waits for me, I'll go.
I will look at your sanity.
I'm inside.
Because I think we have to get our sanity down to 25, don't we?
I'm over at the door.
You have to get the
I
average.
can't find the door.
Hell yeah, me and Turtle caught it.
Y'all caught it and I didn't? No! Okay. Charlie, Michigan, you gotta let us know if things get hairy in there. Like the activity goes off the chart.
Yeah, I see and everything.
You grab a camera.
Yes, I did.
Activity is just maxing at 6.
Oh?
Or 5. No, 6.
Are you finding stuff?
No. That's open. Well, it could have been from Michigan.
Which side of the prison are we on now?
We're on the right side.
Oh yeah, here's the shower. Shorty took a shower and I watched.
You always watch when people are in the shower.
You're the best, hello.
Activity is still 6.
Interesting.
You can check your Pokemon progress way to see if you caught it. That's cool. So, like, go down to the chat box and check.
Lady's at 63. Kimono's at 80. I'm 40. I'm fucking 48 and I'm here. I don't know. I'm still scared.
There we go. Yeah, put that.
Ooh, activity still 6.
Hey, this is the library.
The library. Any good books in here? This seems like a place a ghost would hang out. The library.
Activity is 4.
Oh, okay.
Ghosts like reading, right?
Okay.
I'm on lunch break right now. I'm eating a sandwich. What are you guys doing?
Out, night, ads. No, not the ads. Oh, I lost rain.
Oh,
Reading
sorry,
chat.
I left.
Okay, I was reading chat.
Activity is 4, so.
There's central control.
See, these computers aren't on. That's the weird part. The other ones are. It's just like what's giving them power.
Activity is 2. Going.
Interesting. So I wonder if it is actually the right side of the
0 activity.
The right side or the left side?
Right.
0 activity.
Tao wasn't supplied either. Just got off 20 hours travel, hauling my 6-month suitcase.
No
Yeah,
orbs in
feedback?
the kitchen.
Do we have a recording camera at all?
What was that?
There's no
What?
sound sensor.
Sound like a metal door squeaking open.
Yeah. We'll do that.
Yeah.
What's our activity, Michigan?
No, activity 0 and the sound sensor, stuff is all offline, so I don't think we have.
Oh, we don't have sound sensors.
Oh. 57 average. Activity went up to 2.
Okay, so we're kind of in the right area, I guess. Oh. He tinged.
Yeah, hear that? Metal doors going.
Yeah, he's messing with something.
Activity's at 4. It's rising pretty quick.
Maybe we should
How's
move on.
our sanity?
It's good. 47, 66.
Okay. Go. So I think he is here in B block.
Yeah, it's good. It topped at 4, but now it's going way down to 0 again.
Okay. So it's like he wants us in there.
Yeah, because he's making noise over there.
But I haven't gotten any EMFs, so there's absolutely nothing from him.
Is there such thing as a non-violent ghost that wants to murder us? Or do they all want to murder us?
They all want to kill us.
Why? They all want to kill us.
Okay. So EMF is useless. So we know it's not EMF.
Have a great stream and game. Kimono and chat. Sleep well later. I probably won't after this. I didn't even think about that.
Alright,
I'm
Mona,
gonna
you
have
wanna go back up,
nightmares
see if we can
tonight.
get some tips?
I already had nightmares about spiders. I don't need that. There are too many spiders in my house. I gotta figure out how to get them out.
Alright, I have another recording camera and a temperature thing. Let's go back in, Mona.
Okay, hold on. Let me see what I. Okay, I got a camera,
Mono's
a
the
glow
most sane
stick, and a
person
flashlight.
here, apparently.
Okay. That works. We got what we need.
You're pretty insane.
Yeah. We're going. Don't worry.
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, good luck, Kimono. Puddles. Thank you. I think I need it.
Alright, we're going back to the right side
I'll
of the
let you guys
building.
know all the stuff.
Thank you.
The average is 48, which is kind of different.
Yeah. Oh, there's this squeaking again.
Oh,
There
you
was
heard it?
a
I didn't
peak.
hear.
You're special.
I'll let you guys
I
know.
didn't scream. I didn't scream. It's too soon.
It went up to 2, now it's up to 4.
Okay.
Oh, I
Now it's
heard
up
it.
to 6. This is the highest
Uh-oh.
I've ever seen it.
We should turn around.
You just want to run back out.
Yeah.
I'm coming in here.
Oh, it's 10. All the way to
Shut the door, shut the door. Flash that door.
That's a map. Is a 10, Roger.
He's walking around.
I was about to say, shut off your flashlight.
It's literally red lining on 10. I was just like, woo. Red line.
She just flashed him.
What, they're flashing people in there? Let me in. Let's get. Sorry.
What's our activity, Michigan?
10 number.
It's still 10?
Mm-hmm. Still 10.
The activities.
He's walking around. Do you hear him, Mona?
Yes.
Oh, it's shooting down to 3.
Okay, we're good?
1.
We're good? We're safe?
Yeah, it's 1 now. Yeah, it's the pattern.
Sorry, that was me. Okay.
Lady, you are 35%.
Okay.
Yeah. He walked right up to the cell door.
Yeah. Temp keeps going down. Stay close by. Please.
You're averaging 38. Oh, it went up to 3.
Uh-oh.
This is my job right here. I'm gonna send me.
Alright, well, I'm not getting freezing temps. Oh, shit.
It shot up. It shot up to 5, and then it's fake. I mean, it went right back down to 2.
Is it at 2?
Yeah, it's at 2 right now. Ladies at 32.
Okay.
35.
I'm going back into the thing.
It's at 0 now.
Okay.
I feel like you guys left me here because I die a lot, so
Yeah.
I'm just like, you just saying that.
No, I heard it.
I'm just kidding. Ladies at 30.
Okay.
Okay, can we leave now?
Ladies going crazy.
Drink water.
Activities at
Good work. Thank you.
He
Oh,
was just
ah!
sitting here. Let's go.
10,
Let's
10,
go.
Run.
10.
Run.
That shot
Can't
up
go
from
any
0 to
faster.
10 instantly. It's definitely a 10.
Can you shut this door?
Ladies at...
Can we shut the door? He's gonna catch me.
It's still 10.
No, he's hunting me.
I'm right behind you.
She has the lowest craziness.
You, you murdered me.
Sorry, he was right by here.
He was behind me. I was behind you.
Lol.
Okay, it's shooting back up. It's shooting back
She
up.
shut the door in my face and I died.
Are we safe?
No, you're not. It's at 7, 9. You were at 13.
Okay, it's not hunting anymore. All right.
It's at 7 though.
Camera's right there.
So there's some activity.
You gotta get out.
Yeah.
She's like, he's chasing me. And I'm like, no, it's me. I'm not you.
Like, stop chasing me.
I thought he was hunting me. I'm so sorry.
I know something happened. It went to 0.
He was hunting both of us because I was following you.
Holy shit.
Do you have a picture of her body to make sure her loved ones know?
I do. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Well,
that was scary.
I try to help you guys, especially like.
yeah, I know.
I was like, we need to hide, we need to hide, we need to hide. She just kept running. I was like, we can't run in forever.
Kimono's like, I'm running.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, this is why therapy is a huge thing.
Yeah, my best friend shut the door on me and abandoned and let me die.
I didn't even guess.
Me either.
Oh, there's an upstairs to this
I didn't know
place?
what that button was. I was like,
Oh.
click.
Oh, you hit the button before we could say what kind of ghost it was?
It was a phantom. I literally guessed it was a phantom right before we loaded up.
Did you?
know
I
what
didn't
that
even
button
select
was.
anything
It
yet.
was like, close the door.
Ah, we're zombies too? Oh, the prison arc.
Hey, I leveled up.
Okay, but yes, thank you for the drink, Hollow.
Does everybody still have the adult beverages?
Mm-hmm.
Adult
Yeah.
stuff. Cheers, and Kimono, you're very tall in the game still, so it's good.
It really is. I don't know what's going on.
I know, I feel like her child, like, please, can you
I
give me
feel like
more?
we need something that's not this.
That was scary.
Yeah.
Not scary, but I got lost, yeah.
Oh.
Prison's a little anxiety inducing.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
the
I'm
thing
done
is, I
with
don't
fast
get
mode for the night.
Yeah.
You guys are.
Yeah, I think we're.
I'll be back shortly.
Okay. Alright.
The thing is, I don't get scared. That's half the issue.
And I have
Breathe.
anxiety and really active imagination.
Yeah, it was
I'm literally
bad
going
enough
straight
that
to the basement. Literally.
I dreamed about spiders. Because one got on my bed yesterday.
Oh my god.
And I find them, like, in every room throughout the day. Like, multiple times. And I'm like, you guys gotta chill.
Well, now you're Spider-Woman, though, because, like, you can just...
That's what I'm scared of. I was like, how long is it gonna be before I get bit by one of these guys? There's so many of them.
Well, it's
That's the
probably
part
a lot
I'm worried
bigger,
about.
too. Yeah, the spiders are a lot
I
bigger.
don't want to get bit.
I agree. Now I realize, I'm not scared of that game.
Oh, breathe.
I'm going to the basement, like, hey, what's up? What we doing, Kimono? What we doing?
I'm leaving the game. I'm just gonna chat and breathe for a minute, because that's what I'm gonna do.
I've got some jobs ready for you.
I didn't do that.
I'm looking around in the cabinets to see if we gained any more things this time. I really wanted that cat in the photo frame. I wanted the kitty in the
kept
photo
throwing
frame.
it to you.
I know.
Throwing the cat's here.
I picked it up and I threw it in the vehicle, but it didn't let us keep it.
We could
This
do
is
some
like-
Among Us.
If you could visit any country in the world, which one would it be and why? Oh my god, just one? I mean, Japan's definitely at the top of the list. But I also want to visit all the countries. I mean, there's so many I want to visit. Ireland's always been there because it's green and beautiful and pretty. I've always wanted to see that. I love any kind of country that has like amazing architecture. So I mean,
Go to Italy.
yeah, Greece, Italy,
Stop
name
looking.
it. You can pick more than one, by the way. Okay, yes.
All of them, all 200 and some.
But yeah, definitely want to go to Japan because I want to eat all the food and take pictures of all the things.
No, they're gonna look at
and
you like
experience the culture and such. So that's definitely way up there. I feel like if I pick the countries I want to visit and then I start listing like things I want to do in those countries, Japan has the most things I want to do. So that just makes sense to me. Like the other countries, a lot of it's just sightseeing, trying the food, seeing the architecture. I don't have like a big list in my head of things I want to do in those yet. But what about you? What about you? What about you, Rain? What country do you want to visit? Ireland. Rain wants to go to Ireland. What about you, Michigan? You want to go to the UK, right?
Yeah,
See all,
England.
see all your friends? Is your friend?
I have a friend there, but when I got my DNA back, it said you're super white. I'm like, okay.
There's a China. There's a train going through an apartment. No, that's cool though. Kind of reminds me of Disney and the monorail going through the hotel. I would like to see the Great Wall of China.
Like I said, England 100% would be my number one.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I realize how.
If I was in the UK, I'd want to see. I know they have castles there too. My goal is to like see all the castles in all the countries.
No, that'll be
not all of them, but I want to. That's like if I'm in a country that has castles, I better at least see a couple castles while I'm there.
Well, when it comes to a place per se, it would probably be Norway because of World War II.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to a country, it'd be England. But Norway would probably be right up there.
I went to visit Japan for extremely obvious reasons. The United Arab Emirates because of Dubai, and finally the Philippines because of the malls. That would be cool. I had an opportunity to go to Dubai, but I didn't go. Well, I would have had to pay, of course, so that was a big factor. I didn't have the money. But it was still cool to be invited with the group to go, and I really thought about it. I was like, oh, man, it's not a country I ever thought about going, but after being invited, I was like, I researched it more, and I was like, this is really cool. So Philippines has malls? I'll have to look it up.
It's not a place that I would like to visit, but I have my personal reasons for that.
Mm-hmm.
The Philippines is actually growing pretty well, so you're gonna be a lot more safe, I guess.
Yeah.
But Japan for extremely obvious reasons.
No, you just want to go there because you have big blue eyes, so they're like, "Oh my god, who's this?"
No. I want to see cherry blossom trees.
Okay.
Rain is playing Power Wash Simulator to anti-stress her life away. That sounds like a good idea, actually.
I love that game, and I think I'm gonna start beating the campaign again.
And I have another friend playing Stardew Valley to de-stress. It's a really huge mall. Dang. I would be afraid that I would need a whole suitcase just to go back. I feel like that's gonna happen in Japan too. It's like I'm gonna have to like a fold up
you'll have to-
travel bag, an extra one just shoved in my suitcase, like as big as a
You'll just have
suitcase.
to take you have to take 2 suitcases with you. One for all of your travel stuff, and then just your
One
regular.
for my clothes,
Mhm.
and then my carry on. So I'm gonna end up coming back with 2. Don't blame me looking on YouTube. Oh, I believe you. I will definitely look it up later. I bet it's really cool looking too. Oh, I'm not even sitting up straight. I looked at myself and I was like, I'm like all slouching
Oh, yeah.
and hunched over, and I'm like, geez, don't do that. Posture check, right? It's because of that game. I just like wanted to
I know.
hide. I'm gonna hide. If only private jets and fueling them was as cheap as a bag of chips, right? Yeah. Would be great. But yeah, those long flights, I can't imagine what that's like in just regular class for a long, long, long trip.
Mm-mm.
And how much you hurt at the end.
Yeah, economy, fuck that.
Because I do not believe I would enjoy that very much for a very long flight. I think the longest one I've been on so far is probably like 4.5 hours, and even then you're feeling it. It's like I can't imagine like 14 hours on a flight or something. Especially cramped up with, 3 other people in your row or whatever. Hopefully the planes have soft cushion seats and unlimited Wi-Fi. Usually they make you pay for Wi-Fi too.
Depends on the airline, but yeah.
Spacious legroom? Yeah, what's that? You're gonna have your bag down there by your feet too. So transatlantic flights are not fun, Shanty. Yeah, I am not looking forward to that at all. I think everybody abandoned ship. Oops, Blitz is still there and hiding. Michigan's
Oh,
just
yeah,
quiet.
I think he went to go pick up something.
Michigan's quietly in recovery mode.
Oh yeah, I'm shaking so much.
I feel like I'm still shaking. I do. It was intense. Michigan! Thank you so much for the 20 months. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Much appreciated. Thank you for using your Prime sub on my stream. Yes. Let's see. And then, where's it at? Where's the button? No, not there. There it is. Hype, hype, hype. Gotta get some hype in chat for the sub.
No.
I'm still gonna beat Turtle and Momo for making me scream more than the game tonight.
Literally.
I swear, they made me scream so bad. I'm tempted to go back and look at those clips now.
You just like tearing.
Yeah. Let's see.
You're special.
No! You're not supposed to do that right now. Oh, jeez. Who's Flint's? Lurking.
Oh, I was very
Yeah, my
aggressive.
bad. I was
was
just
very
stuffing my
aggressive.
face with food.
Sorry, Kimona, that was very aggressive. I accidentally.
Yeah, that was. Okay, I'm gonna run.
Right.
I was very aggressive.
Alright, let me look for those clips real quick. How do I close this Call of Duty quest thing in Discord? Go away.
Yeah.
Hide this. There we go. It's one of those quest thingies.
No, that's stupid.
They're like, play the game.
No. Who the fuck wants to play COD?
Well, when I was in middle school, yeah.
Alright, let's see if I can do this. Move it over here.
I do want to play some Call of Duty. I do
Big.
want to shoot things.
And do this. Okay, I'm trying to like play this, but I don't think I screamed in that one. Oh, I kinda did. I kinda screamed in that one. That or the mic just didn't pick it up as loud. Alright, let me look for the other one real quick. Oh, that is that one. Hold on. And pause. And then full screen. And then screen share. I can do this. Have you ever seen YouTube videos of Japanese cake vending machines? They're pretty. The ones with the cake in the can, and you just pop. You can like see through the little plastic can jar thing, and the little lid pops off. The cake. Yes, I want that. I want cake in a can. I don't know why. Yes, I would love to try one of those. Gaming. Let's change it to gaming and then change it to, where's display? There it is. Okay, this is, yeah. This is one of the things.
I'm a legendary guy. I did it first.
Spirit activities going on.
Pretty quiet. God,
Well, enjoy yourself.
I don't know if you I did scream.
I'm probably dead already.
Just like, yo. Hello, your special stuff. I'm like, what? Yep. Michigan, I'm probably dead already. It does sound like Michigan. And here was the other clip y'all made. Let me go and look. Wild Room Raid. Let's catch this thing. I'll catch. And then.
I'm gonna leave the temperature
It's bad. Oh, I'm covering up myself because it's a clip of my stream. You got words on top of words covering up myself.
That's great.
I was like, oh, you can't even see what I'm seeing because I'm covering my own face up with my face. It's like face inception going on.
I remember this because I tried to get back out and then I.
There you go, down in that corner. What's that mean? Corner. Oh, that was me. There we go. Okay. Now you know, I'm gonna move this back before I forget. And then I No, stop going off. I'm gonna think I have a raid again or something. Hey, I caught the Pokemon. But yeah, I think that's it for me tonight, guys. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being here. I hope you had a good Friday, enjoying watching me and the crew getting our jump scares on. Rain murdering me.
On accident. I didn't mean to.
It was an
But
accident.
someone had to be sacrificed.
Herself, guys. You heard that. She's saving herself. She's just like, I'll
thought we
shut
were
the
all
door
through
in
the
this
door.
girl's face because I'm gonna live.
Push me in, and then
She did. She totally murdered me so she could get away. Yeah. I was surprised when we were both hiding together in that cell, which is obviously see-through.
It's just
Did
because the
they-
door was closed and we turned our lights off.
Yeah, but like we were both there. Like I was wondering
Yeah.
if there's two people hiding in the same place, does it make it more likely to get attacked?
Nope.
Or less likely?
It's the same.
But then Rain like said at the 1 second, she was like, "You turned on your light for a split second." And I was like,
Yeah.
just like,
You got
you're gonna
to,
get
'cause
us
you don't know if it's hunting or not.
Ah. Like she turned it on for a split second when we had them off. Good night. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you guys stay awesome. Don't forget to hit follow if you want to check out my streams. If you want to join my Discord, there's the link. Feel free to join my Discord. Come check out my community. And thank you. Yes, Jano, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for chatting. Imagine, okay, what is this prank version? I missed this. Now imagine a prank version of the cake in a can, but instead of cake, a robotic hand comes out and grabs your face. No, thank you. You're gonna give me nightmares. You give me nightmares. I
No
don't
giving
need.
Mono nightmares, only I'm allowed to do that.
I'm already gonna have nightmares now. Raina's gonna sacrifice me if ever. Now I know in real life, if we're in a situation, I'm a goner.
Oh, that's bullshit.
I know. Just
You're
kidding.
gonna close the door in your face.
She is gonna close the door in my face. There's only room in this boat for one. No, but
If it was stakes on this community, I would sacrifice myself.
Shay giving me nightmares. I mean, you were always trying to get me to watch horror stuff, so possibly. And that face. Hi, Joffrey. Thank you for the
Are you
loves.
saying Shane's face is the stuff of nightmares? 'Cause that's
You know what face I'm talking about. The heya heya emo he puts in chat. The nightmare emote. That nightmare emote he uses all the time. I'm shedding. Like pulling out hair. Some DNA here.
You want to send some of it to me?
You probably still got some in your house somewhere.
Probably. I'm pretty sure I have some of artists too.
You probably do. If they're green, they're not me.
No. I admittedly have not changed the sheets on the bed since she left, so.
Have you ever thought about doing an anime watch stream? We do anime watch parties in Discord. I'm usually careful about streaming stuff because of like copyright and stuff. I don't know where the laws lie on the anime streaming. But that would be cool to do like I've seen people do like reaction streams, but I'm not sure the details of that. They'll like stream and watch.
Yeah, that would be some
Anime.
research that we need to conduct first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd have to
Plus,
research
it's
it.
also nice to have offline stuff to do.
Yeah, it is. It is nice to do offline stuff. We watched like What was the last anime we watched in Discord? That time I got reincarnated as a slime. And there's like another whole season now we could watch.
Yeah.
I know
That's
the
okay,
perfect thing I
Mina,
want
thank
Kit Kat to react to. What is that, Shade? What do you want me to watch and see my reaction? Discord is much more safe for streaming, that kind of thing, yeah.
Mhm.
What is it, Shade? I'm waiting in an anticipation to see what it is. Oh, Suki Moon. How do you say that? Suki Moonlit Journey.
Suki Moonlit Journey.
Suki Moonlit Journey.
I've never heard of it.
I haven't heard of that one. I'll have to look it up.
Suki means moon, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it sad? I bet it's sad.
It's the moonlit.
I was about to say. Is it Moonlit?
Tsukimichi.
It's an isekai.
Tsukimichi?
Oh no.
Isekai. Oh. So now I'm curious though. Now I'm gonna be like looking it up and watching the preview of it.
Got hit by a bus and now I'm in a new world with myself.
It's sad, funny, painful. Oh. But aren't some of those make the best animes too? I hope it has a happy ending.
That sounds like a slice of life isekai.
Oh.
Is it slice of life isekai? I do like some slice of life. Gotta love getting hit by a truck.
Yeah.
And memes? Oh no. It has 2 seasons so far. Second season and 2 more episodes. Dang. So it's pretty popular then.
You gotta love the anime that the title is an entire paragraph.
Doesn't get hit by a truck. One of the ultimate slice of life animes, in my opinion, is Lucky Star.
I haven't seen. I've seen bits and pieces of Lucky Star, but not much.
It's a really good one about the snack house. I forget what it's called in Japanese, but
He gets
there's a snack
traded
house.
to another world because of his parents and goddess. Oh. You know, it sounds like something I may have saw a little bit of.
The isekais involve goddesses.
I'm curious. But, alright, we're gonna go for real this time. That's the Japanese name. Yeah, I'm not gonna try to pronounce that.
Oh, don't you?
Michibiku Isekai Doichu? No, that's about the post
You got Micha.
But thank you guys. Thank you again for hanging out. I wrote down the name of both of those actually, so I can look them up. But I will catch you guys. It's getting late here, and I'm going to crash early tonight. Not,
Okay.
you know, when the sun comes up like I do some Friday nights. So I'm gonna try to go to sleep soon. It'll be midnight. 2 more episodes till season 2 ends. So about 2 weeks alone. Okay. Not too long. And then I'll have 2 whole seasons I could binge watch, right? I haven't binge watched in a while. Would be fun. But all right, guys. Good night. I will catch you guys later. Thank you all for streaming. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for everything. Say goodbye, chat, and voice
Bye,
chat.
Good night.
Good night, all.